make every second count. And that's what I believe is the import of our quote of the day this morning. And in our bid to continue to help you to improve your vocabulary every single day, we bring you our word of the day now.
Today's word, D-E-B-O-N-A-I-R.
Debonair is an adjective. It means a man who is confident, charming, and well-dressed. Bolore can be described as debonair.
I think I love today's word of the day, debonair, right? I think I'm a debonair. Am I not? Am I not? But yeah, that's our word of the day, and you can incorporate it into your everyday speaking, improve your vocabulary, let your English be rich. That's what we seek to do with our word of the day every single morning. And on GH today, on this Wednesday morning, quite a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're going to discuss the issues as they have unfolded right up till yesterday, when the Speaker of Parliament walked into the chamber and made an announcement that he is adjourning the House. He's adjourning the sitting indefinitely, because there was this impasse between who is the majority and who is the minority, and the issue of the Supreme Court of Ghana giving a directive to the Speaker of Parliament to stay his decision to declare 4 seats in Parliament vacant. That has been the bone of contention for the past week, since last Thursday. That's almost a week ago, 6 days ago, when Parliament reconvened. The minority leader then, Kesi Lato-Forson, brought to the attention of the Speaker of Parliament that there are some MPs in this House who want to contest as independent candidates. And there is an MP who is an independent candidate who wants to contest on the tickets of the NPP. And because of that, a certain constitutional provision, Article 97, Clause 1, G and H, needs to be triggered. If you look at that, it means the seat should be declared vacant. Then the Speaker said he was going to make a final determination on it. I think this happened on Tuesday. So he said he was going to make a final determination on that in the next 2 days. And so Thursday, when the Speaker came to Parliament, he indeed read out what he thought was the appropriate thing to do, indicating that because there is a notice of poll out, which indicates that these 4 members of Parliament are contesting, 3 as independent candidates, 1 as an NPP candidate, even though he's an independent candidate, their seats are declared vacant. And once their seats were declared vacant, automatically the numbers in the House shifted. So the NDC now came to have 136 members of Parliament, and the NPP came to have about 135 members of Parliament. And they believe that because of that, the NDC is now the majority side in the House. But the leader of the NPP caucus said no. That interpretation that the Speaker gave, or that ruling that the Speaker gave, is wrong, because that is not what that constitutional provision means. And so he went to the Supreme Court. In fact, before they went to Parliament, he had already indicated an action at the Supreme Court. And when the Speaker made the ruling, he went to the Supreme Court again, this time around, ex parte. Ex parte means going on Supreme Court without giving notice to the party you are taking to court. And the Supreme Court decided that, okay, we are going to rule on this matter because we have the jurisdiction to interpret the Constitution. But before we interpret the Constitution, Speaker Alban Bagbin, that decision that you've made to suspend or to declare seats vacant, stay it. Now, that is what became an issue which potentially could cause a constitutional crisis, because there were all of these legal brains who were saying that, well, the High Court is the place where, if any issues of vacancy of seats being declared, elections of members of Parliament and all of that, it's the High Court that needs to deal with this issue. The Supreme Court doesn't have the jurisdiction. Besides, Parliament is the master of its own rules, and when they are performing their duties, nobody needs to come and interfere. So until the Supreme Court makes a final determination on the matter, the Supreme Court cannot tell Parliament what to do. And so that became the issue of contention. Will the Speaker adhere to what the Supreme Court has said, or will he disregard what the Supreme Court has said. And tensions were high, with NDC insisting on majority, MPP insisting on majority. And so yesterday came. And when yesterday came, the Speaker decided that, okay, I don't agree with the Supreme Court. I've already filed processes at the Supreme Court disagreeing with their directive to tell me to stay my decision to declare seats vacant. And so, I'm going to adjourn the House and then do broader consultations. We all saw what happened in Parliament yesterday. So that is where we are today. And it will be interesting to see how the Supreme Court is going to rule on this matter. I've heard a former Supreme Court judge, Justice Atukuba, say that, well, looking at the interpretation of the contentious article now in the Constitution, 97(1), G, A, and H, it's pretty straightforward. It's got to do with the members of Parliament in the House. Now, they've declared their intention to go independent, so they are no more members of the party, among other things, you know. So it's interesting how all of this is being interpreted by this side and by those who also believe that, look, it doesn't apply to the Parliament and it's for the future and all of that. So many moving parts. But at the end of the day, all eyes are on the Supreme Court, like I have been saying. So this is one of the major issues that we're going to discuss here on the show today. We also heard that Cynthia Morrison had pulled out of the race to become Member of Parliament for her constituency. But it emerged that no, she is still in the race. And you should disregard the pictures you saw of her and other leaders of Parliament circulating, indicating that they've spoken to her and she has decided to withdraw. She has not withdrawn from the race. She's still very much in the race. And so she's still very much contesting as an independent Member of Parliament. All of these are many, many moving parts that we'll discuss here on GH Today. We'll take our video of the day. Yes, let's enjoy some nice music this nice Wednesday morning. When we return, myself and Lily Mohammed will take you through the rest of the show. This is our video of the day from PSA Esther.
cool. Well, what's up? Parliament is up.
Oh yeah, Parliament is all over the place. Parliament is up.
Yes,
Parliament has captured the attention of the entire nation since last Thursday.
Yes.
Everybody has been waiting. Everybody has been anticipating. And what could have come?
Yeah, making conjectures and all that. And then finally, yesterday, Parliament was adjourned. And you know, it was interesting. Yesterday, I listened to, an interview you had, but we'll talk about that.
Yes, we'll talk about that on Inside Out. So getting into the issues, Parliament, we don't know whether there is even going to be a recall of Parliament, because already there are indications that if the Speaker takes too long to recall the House,
the NPP caucus will trigger a recall.
Yes, they will go for signatures.
Yeah,
they will get the signatures,
and then
they will trigger a
recall of Parliament. It was interesting. You know, yesterday I listened to the majority. Okay, so who is who?
Say NPP caucus and NDC caucus.
So yesterday, I listened to the leader of the NPP caucus, Alexander Kwamna Pegmakin, speaking, and then he made mention of the fact that he had gotten wind of the fact that the Speaker was going to adjourn indefinitely from the NDC caucus. And now yesterday, it was interesting to note that while we had an interview in GH today, a member of the NDC caucus who appeared on the show was, I don't want to say emphatic, but he sort of preempted that we're going to have the Speaker should adjourn the House indefinitely.
David Wondi.
Yeah, David Wondi yesterday.
He's
Chifu
Etimokwa.
Yeah,
he's the member of Parliament for that area. He said, I mean, if he were the Speaker, that is what he would do, and that is what he will call on the Speaker to do, so that all of these issues go away. So it looked like it was increasingly becoming clear that that will probably be the best line of action for the Speaker, you know, considering the potential constitutional crisis that we have on our hands and the tension, you know, that was in the country. Because I was looking at it from the point of the Supreme Court of this country, the judicial arm, the head of the judicial arm, the highest court of the land, that makes decisions, and the decisions are final. They have jurisdiction in all matters, right? So I'm looking at a situation where the Supreme Court gives a directive or gives an order, and that order is not executed. We've never seen anything like that before in the Fourth Republic. So it creates a constitutional crisis when you look at the functions of the Supreme Court and the powers of the Supreme Court, and then the functions of Parliament and the powers of Parliament, or the legislative arm of government. All of them are arms of government, and they are supposed to work together. All of them have their functions.
That's why there's separation of powers.
Separation of powers. They are supposed to work together. And one would say Parliament is not supposed to be directed as to how they should do their work by anybody. They are masters of their own rules. That is why they have their standing orders. And so once they are in the process of doing their work, which what the Speaker did is one of them, until you, the Supreme Court, and I've been saying this, makes a final determination on a true and proper interpretation of Article 97, 1, G and H, until you make a determination on it and say that this is what it means, so that everybody else is bound by it, you cannot tell Parliament what to do.
But my challenge is, where do we draw the line? So there's no intrusion.
That is what I was worried about, because if the Speaker of Parliament had come and then said that, I believe that we are Parliament, I don't agree with the Supreme Court, you can't tell us what to do, we are not obeying that directive until you make a final determination, we are proceeding with the matter. It creates a situation where, for the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic, the Supreme Court has made a ruling that someone didn't comply with. And that creates a very serious issue for us, because when anything happens, we go from the district court to the circuit court to the high court to the court of appeal, and then finally to the Supreme Court, who have the final say. So if the Supreme Court has said something and someone didn't comply with it, what does it mean?
Exactly.
What kind of impression is it creating in the minds of people about the powers of the Supreme Court? Are people now going to start challenging every single decision of the Supreme Court without complying with it? It would have created a very serious situation that we have on our hands. On the other hand of Parliament also, if they allow the Supreme Court to direct as to how they should conduct their proceedings and, the Speaker's decisions and all of that, what kind of precedent is that setting? Does it mean that anytime somebody in Parliament is also aggrieved by a certain decision that has been taken to the Speaker or a certain process that is going on in Parliament, then they can go to court and the court can tell them that they should stop until they make a determination? That also causes a problem for Parliament.
Exactly.
So that's the constitutional crisis that we have had on our hands. So I believe the Speaker did well by just saying, okay, then we will not sit. We have adjourned the House.
Especially because he had also filed processes to vacate the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, because he doesn't believe that the Supreme Court should have done that. Right?
Because you mentioned earlier when you began the show that you were listening to a former Justice of the Supreme Court, William Atuguba.
Yes.
And I listened to him as well. And he said it would be very incongruous to say that because somebody has vacated their seat and it is for the next Parliament, somebody has left their group, it is for the next Parliament, so automatically it means that the person is looking at the next Parliament. If you're looking at the next Parliament, then the person wouldn't have flouted the law. If it is in for the next Parliament, then it means that the person did absolutely nothing wrong, then the law does not apply here. But what was the Supreme Court procedurally wrong in the vacation of seats? Because in listening to Justice William Atuguba, he mentioned that it is the High Court that determines. So was it wrong for the NPP caucus to run to the Supreme Court? Should the NPP caucus have run to the High Court?
That's what people are saying, that they should have gone to the High Court. Because when you look at the provisions in the Constitution, on that particular subject matter, says when it comes to issues that have got to do with Member of Parliament or the declaration of seats vacant, or anything like that, the High Court
has
that jurisdiction. Right? So the first point of call for the minority, or should I say the NPP
caucus,
who were then the majority, still
it's all confusing,
they should have gone to the High Court, right? And then trigger the processes from there. But everybody is giving the opinion, everybody is giving their interpretation. But if Justice Atuguba was on a panel like that, I'm pretty sure in the interpretation he would have, brought his opinion to bear. But he's not at the Supreme Court anyway. But I believe that the Supreme Court's justices are learned enough.
Of course.
They understand the law. That is why they have been at the bar and the bench for as long as they have been. And if they didn't merit being where they are, they would not be there. They wouldn't have been there. So I believe that they know what they are doing. And it will be very interesting to see how they finally, go through all of that. I mean, Supreme Courts can review their decisions, right? If the Supreme Court makes a decision and, at another point in time, the Supreme Court feels that, okay, this decision that we've made, we believe somebody has challenged it and we believe that, okay, that person is making superior arguments. They always have the chance to review their decisions. If it's a 5-member panel, they can make it a 7-member panel or a 9-member panel and, review their decisions.
Upon their discretion,
they can do that.
And it was interesting to see the AG's response. He's the second defendant in the suit that the NPP caucus took to the Supreme Court. And it was interesting to know that he says somebody's decision not to go with a particular party does not mean an automatic vacation. Is that at variance with what the Constitution says? Because I thought the Constitution clearly spelled out. Well, I am not a lawyer. I am not a student of law, so I probably may not understand it. But I mean, the Constitution was written in plain English. So that we could all understand. This ignorance of the law is not an excuse, right?
No, it is not.
So all of us must own a Constitution, at least. But if you read the Constitution and at every point you have to go for interpretation, then why do we have a Constitution? Then we should wait for the law courts to tell us
the Constitution is written in clear language, like you've said, and when you read it, you have to understand it, right? And when you are reading the Constitution as well, you don't read certain, articles and clauses in isolation.
Exactly.
Because there are chapters, and in every chapter, it has what it talks about. So when you read it in its entirety, because sometimes when you read a clause in the Constitution, it says something, then it says notwithstanding to clause this, which you referred to earlier. So it just tells you that when you are reading the Constitution, you should read it in whole, in its entirety, to really understand the trajectory of the provisions that you are reading and where you have arrived, so that you can make, you can have a very good understanding of what the Constitution is trying to say. But nonetheless, there are also certain provisions within the Constitution which are subject to further interpretation because it's not too clear, exactly what it means. But there are also many provisions in the Constitution which are clear, black and white. You don't even need to go to the Supreme Court to have it interpreted, right? So on the issues that are not too clear, or that somebody feels that I have a different understanding of it, they can now trigger the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, which has the sole jurisdiction when it comes to interpreting the Constitution for them to do. So I think that's what Alexander Kwame has done.
Yeah.
Because there are those who believe that, look, it's got to do with a future parliament, right, and not crossing carpets.
But then, Lantam, I'm also wondering what then was the premise for which the NPP in 2020 triggered that process for the vacation of seat of the Fomena MP?
Well,
because if it is the same constitution, then I think that the Fomena MP should have also gone to the Supreme Court for a better interpretation.
Now, a lot of them are saying they believe Speaker Michael Quay was wrong. Then I've heard a lot of people who say
but why
Michael
condone it if it was wrong then?
Well,
but then you are seeking to rewrite the wrong now. 4 years on.
That is the politics of it.
Exactly.
At that particular point in time, they wanted to teach him a lesson.
You, so yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to teach Andrew Siama a lesson. That's what they wanted to do. You know, the president on many platforms saying, I can't work with Siama. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so if it was good for the goose, then it should be good for the gander. But it doesn't also mean that somebody, if they disagree with it, shouldn't seek for an interpretation of the law in that regard. But it's just the politics of it, right? It's just the politics of it. But from the Speaker's decision yesterday, a lot of people have been reacting, and these are some of the reactions.
The thing about Speaker is that not necessarily that he can read his mind, but we know that he would go through, thorough as he is, he would go through all the laws that will support his arguments. We knew that he would do that. And actually, what you saw was just very simple, very few lines. And actually, I think I actually expected this. This just brings finality to it for now, because there's a lot of tension, which I think wasn't the best for the country. The minority, NDC at the time, we were not in charge of government business, and we're not supposed to be promoting. We are supporting government business because we are in this house, but that is not our responsibility. And so much as there were things to do, if you are leading your business, you must lead it and push it and make sure that you get it going. As you saw this morning, as he came, he said that there was nothing before him.
All right, so thank you. I don't think that what happened came to me as a surprise. The reason is simply that I expected that the MPP were going to boycott from the look of things on the floor, and that is what exactly happened. And of course, because they boycotted, I also knew that the rule on decision making will be triggered by Mr. Speaker, and that's what he has done, in terms of the Constitution. But you see, the current situation does not prevent us actually strictly from going ahead, to conduct parliamentary business. We can conduct parliamentary business, but we are not able to vote and take a decision on it. So if we had all the 136 members, we would have satisfied the constitutional threshold, and we could have gone ahead to conduct business. And that's what we intend to do if Parliament reconvenes, after the adjournment.
What happens now? Of course, the legal processes are still active. What happens?
Well, I am not in the mind of Mr. Speaker. As I said, he has instructed his lawyers, and then the lawyers, I'm sure, are working assiduously to ensure that the right processes are filed so that Mr. Speaker's position.
We wanted best international practice. We also looked at our past history, where constituencies voted somebody on a party ticket or an independent ticket for various reasons and good reasons, and the fellow comes to Parliament and then crosses carpet to another party, betraying the trust and the confidence the constituents had given him. We thought that is part of the corruption, and we didn't want this institutional corruption, that they vote for you on the party ticket, then you come and change to another party. That's breeding corruption, because they come and they are influenced, either induced, either money or positions or whatever. We wanted to avoid that. My concern is the fact that we should be looking at the spirit and then the intention of that provision rather than the procedure. We should look at the substance of Article 97(1), G and H, rather than the procedure that we have been involved in, whether we might go to High Court or go to Supreme Court or declare by Parliament here and the rest of them. The most important thing is that the fellow has come on a party ticket, the fellow has decided to change a party, and therefore he has crossed carpet or he has defected, and therefore he should go, to serve as a deterrent to others who will also abuse the privilege that the Constitution gave him. We should be dealing with the substance of the matter, not the procedure that we have been worried, we have been dragging about the rest of them. We should avoid barring legal technicalities and go to the substance. In Ghana today, corruption is eating into our canker. Corruption is all over the country. And this is a place that we can give a strong signal to Ghanaians that corruption, that you cannot benefit from your corrupt practice. And this is what we are being denied. It's a betrayal of the constitutional provision that we have made.
Yes, but the argument is that intentions are futuristic. They are not seeking to move from one party to futuristic. Yes,
it's in the people have it. That argument doesn't hold water. Okay. They are talking about today the fellow, okay, like these 4 people, the NDC MP for Memphis Central.
Yeah, so those are some of the reactions from some of the NDC MPs, from Gisela to Dominic Kaine, who is former Deputy Attorney General, to Cletus Avoka, who was actually one of the people who were part of the Consultative Assembly that put the 1992 Constitution together. Cletus Avoka.
Exactly.
He was there in 1992, part of the Consultative Assembly. That's decided that we are the people of Ghana. This is our constitution. We
need our sovereignty.
Before it came into effect, on 7 January 1993. So he was if he is saying, because he was there.
Exactly.
So he will know what
it meant for them to put it in there.
But anyway, but the Supreme, it doesn't lie
in his interpretation.
I mean, it lies in the
Constitution makes it clear
of the Supreme Court's judges. So they will finally decide what the true interpretation means. But in all of this, there are some rumors. You saw the pictures of
Cynthia Morrison and the leader. I almost said majority leader. Well, if we are going to the
some of the leaders of Parliament
of the Supreme Court, then the majority leader and the member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ohene Japan. And then there were other pictures as well. And then there were media reports that Cynthia has rescinded her decision to go independent. So yesterday, we decided as journalists to ask her, have you indeed decided to rescind that decision to go independent? And this is what she had to say.
I said I went to Parliament today. Unfortunately, we couldn't sit. So we had a caucus meeting. When I got there, so I had few with my colleagues. And we took pictures. I just video that I've been offered 50 million to step down. Which is not true. I have not stepped down and has offered me any money. So I'm surprised people put all of social media that I have stepped down and offered step down. It is not true. It is not true. My leader said he's spoken to the media. I don't know which media it is. That is not true. That was as a minister, I never received a dime for being a minister. I only received my salary as a member of Parliament. So I don't know where they offer money to step up or step down. Nobody has offered me any money. And it's a fine out for my leader. I just went to a normal parliamentary sitting. It did not happen. We had me. I have a couple of pictures with Attorney Martin and Kennedy and Nama Park. We have pictures in the chamber. We have pictures in our offices. So pictures doesn't mean anything. I don't even know who put the pictures out there to say that I've been offered anything. And do we ask the minority and the majority whether we offer money for anything? Nobody has offered me any money.
Yeah, so that's Cynthia Morrison there saying that
pictures don't mean anything.
Pictures don't mean anything. Yeah. She has still declared her intention to go as an independent member of Parliament
for Aguna.
Which she currently represents on a ticket of the NPP.
Yes.
But her seat has been declared vacant. She said she will still go, and nobody can stop her from going. The member of Parliament for Suhum too, recently has also come out to deny, because there were also reports that the member of Parliament for the Suhum constituency, Kuja Asante, that he has rescinded his decision. He said it is not true. Exactly. He is still going to go independent. he's still going to go independent. Andrew Esiamatu says, I'm joining the NPP. I don't agree with the speaker's ruling, so I'm going to court. Andrew Esiamatu is saying that. And the NDC member, he hasn't said anything.
Central.
He
has not spoken. But obviously, yes, he still stands to his decision.
But in all of this, the NDC has been reacting to what the speaker has said, right? And they say that they are commending Right Honorable Alban Bagbing, Speaker of Parliament, for the able manner he continues to conduct the affairs of Parliament, as evidence today. Hey, sir. The Right Honorable Speaker Bagbing's handling of the business of Parliament today was a masterclass. The mature leadership he displayed in today's parliamentary proceedings was exceptional. We applaud him for working in the interest of Parliament and the people of Ghana and enhancing the integrity of Parliament with his leadership. We are confident that ultimately the integrity and the independence of parliamentary processes will be upheld and that the House will continue to prioritize the interests of the people of Ghana above partisan interests. So this is a reaction from the NDC to what happened in Parliament yesterday. This was signed by Fifi Fiavi Kwete. And they also go on to say, we commend the NDC Majority Caucus. Hey, Charlie. Okay. NDC Majority Caucus for showing unwavering resoluteness. Their steadfastness inspires confidence and hope in our determination to resist oppressors' rule and give expression to the truth that power ultimately belongs to the people, and no arm of government or institution can subvert the will of the people. The NDC remains resolute in its dedication to fostering democracy and ensuring a brighter, more prosperous future for all citizens. So, yeah, that's it for the NDC. The NDC General Secretary, Fifi Kwete, signed that. So, yeah. So we'll see. We are waiting for...
It will be an interesting...
I know there are some things in Parliament that are going to suffer if Parliament is not recalled.
Of course,
right?
Of course. A number of bills, yes.
A number of bills, including the bill, the LI, which organized labor...
Forest, mining and forest reserves.
Exactly.
Yes.
LI, which allows mining and forest reserves, which organized labor said needs to be repealed, and the president says steps will be taken to repeal it. Now that Parliament is in this limbo, how is that going to be done?
And even the approval of budget for the first quarter of 2025.
Yeah, I mean,
that will suffer as well.
Yeah, I mean I heard a lot of parliamentarians say that doesn't matter. After the December 7 election, they can still come and get that done. They can still call back Parliament, because December 7, you go all the way to January 7. So they can still call Parliament and get that done, because you are not supposed to do a budget which is supposed to be binding on the next government, because there's definitely going to be a new government. Of course. New presidents, whether it's Dr. Palmer, whether it's John Mahama, whether it's Cheddar or Alan Chamanti or whoever, there's going to be, why are you laughing? Why?
It just came out. Came out. Nothing really. It just came out.
Wait, so I don't understand. No, why? Explain.
But why didn't you mention Ekadongo?
Explain.
Why didn't you mention Ekadongo? Why are you biased?
Explain.
Why are you biased? You should have mentioned Ekadongo.
Okay, so there are 13 people. So whether it is Dr. Baumia, whether it is Reverend Andrews, whether it is Cheddar, whether it's Alan Chamanti, whether it's Ekadongo, whether it is Akpalu, whether it is there's another independent candidate.
Yes, and then whether it is Sapomakumankuma
of the CPP.
Well,
whether it is who else? There's one other indendependent candidate, Dr. Something. I've forgotten his name.
I also don't recall his name.
And then Cheddar is number 13. Cheddar is number 12. And then Alan Chamanting is number 13.
Yes.
Right. So
and then the Financial Stability Fund approval will also suffer. Ghana Energy Sector loan approval.
Some tax waivers also need to be done. All of that is going to suffer. But we'll see. We'll see how all of that plays out. But some people have been reacting, right? Some of you have been reacting to this decision by Parliament. Let's see some of those reactions.
The adjournment in the court today will be the indefinite suspension of Parliament pending when there is a resolve. To me, if they will not allow pettiness to elude their national responsibility, you understand, because the whole federation is looking onto them for legislative activities, and going on indefinite suspension will not do no one good. They have to come together, have a common ground, have some compromise, and that is how parliament all over the world is practiced. That if you said an indefinite suspension of parliamentary duties.
Me who say abamba when the decision no taking it there man on the nyansa there too much. She say no wama other opposition no say yeah a majority and a minority no she say no waka obi anu atum because as some of the two was suspend the parliament kopem say be a court to be rule ne case na wie no anse na bi ono so oba obehu ba bi a ode be gina na no she say no the tension ni nyina aba fom what you say wa kire say yes oye pani onimni a oye wo ho nti say wo ma na omo dwene bone say na say ni ye be ko ye be say ni say obi adwene a odwene ye na kan trim.
Well, we have checks and balances. Arms of government check each other. I mean, Supreme Court have the right to interpret the law, and so if there are certain laws regarding the operations of Parliament, the Supreme Court should have a say in interpreting the law. However, I don't think that this is vague. If by losing your seats you automatically become the minority, I don't see the need to suspend Parliament because of that. I think that, I mean, it's one Parliament.
The Speaker's decision was the right one because today everybody was expecting some action from Parliament, and if the Speaker believes that suspending parliamentary proceedings is the best course of action, then I totally support.
Yeah, so comments from some of you out there. So at the end of the day, like we've been saying, the Supreme Court will decide.
Exactly.
When they decide.
Then we'll find our smoothness level.
Yeah, we'll all know what it truly and really
means for whether or not some people will forfeit their seats, they will vacate their seats. The Supreme Court's interpretation will tell. But that's it for Inside Out.
Right, so we're going to do Inside Out now, and Captain
no, we're not going to do Inside Out.
Mutala Inusa has joined us in the studio for court today. We finished.
We're still in court. From Superior Court.
When you are too fine, sometimes you mess with my beauty is mesmerizing me and it's entering my head. So we finished Inside Out. I'll say
it's getting you off guard.
See, when you're standing by a fine girl, that is what happens.
Today is Wednesday, right?
Yes. So we see woman crash Wednesday. So
he's crashing on me. That
so
is
for the purposes of that, this one will be allowed.
So if you had used your hand to pass on my head, like I'll just sort it.
Today's program will be in disarray. It will just be
would have sought the Superior Court's interpretation.
No, try it now.
The caption will be when
we need interpretation from the Superior Court.
Yes, in relation to how you got confused in the
It's the beauty. Aren't you mesmerized?
Oh, Lily has always been.
Yeah.
You know that. This debate, we'll have it so many times.
I know.
Let's go. It's time for court today. Right, so Mutala Inusa.
Capitano.
Lily Mohammed, aka Limo. When you go to Facebook, it's Lily Mohammed New.
Yes.
Where from the new?
Because my old account was hacked, so I just wanted. And to get Lily Mohammed was going to be a challenge, so I had to add something.
So there are people still your name.
Differentiate.
Yes.
Okay, Mohammed.
So anyway. What's up?
Yes, yesterday, over 40 of the Superior Court judges, justices of the High Court, Court of Appeal, some Supreme Court judges also were at the forum. Insurance training. There was a training organized by the National Insurance Commission for judges, and the motive of it is to let the judges understand the new law, the new Insurance Act, the nitty-gritties, what goes into it, and all that. So yesterday at Moving Peak, it was an exciting moment, a very fruitful exercise for these judges that you see on your screen there. A lot of them after and most of them happens to be those new ones who were elevated recently from the circuit court to the high court. Of course, so that need, that relevance to let them understand what happened in relation to the NIC laws is very, very significant. In fact, this is not the first time they have done this. They've organized a similar exercise for some of the judges before, the same high court judges. And in fact, those high court judges now, virtually almost all of them are the Court of Appeal. So while they are new ones, it's always important to have that training for them. So as you can see, there's the number. About 40 of them were present yesterday for that particular training. And Justice Amadou Tanko, in fact, a justice of the Supreme Court, represented the Chief Justice at that particular forum. And he, in fact, opened the ceremony. And in fact, we all know what was happening yesterday, in Parliament. And so before he started to talk to the judges, it was like, look,
he had a bite at what was happening in Parliament.
Look at what is happening. This is insurance law we are coming to talk about. But make sure that you are focused. Don't be focused on happening elsewhere in the city, because whatever happened there, they'll come back to us. Let's go and hear what Justice Amadou Tanko had to say in relation to that.
To acknowledge me when I entered, I've written your names. Now, I'm delivering this address, which in the course of it may seem as an insurance lecture. On my personal behalf, as a Justice of the Supreme Court, a faculty member of the Judicial Training Institute, and also on behalf of the Honorable Lady Chief Justice, if you find it a little verbose, you pardon me. But I can assure you that the delivery may engage you, and you will not be concerned with happenings in other parts of the city. Whether they like it or not, they will come back to us.
Right. So
that is Justice Amadou Yusuf Tanko. Yes, a justice of the Supreme Court. In fact, he's a director of the Judicial Training Institute. So yesterday he represented the Chief Justice and said, look, forget about what is happening elsewhere in the country. All right, whatever they do,
they'll come before us.
That was one of the things that in the subsequent bulletin we'll give you the full story in relation to that.
All right, so the Democracy Hub people.
Yes.
What has been happening with them?
Yesterday, a set of 9. 7 of them were lucky. They have been left off the hook.
They've been what?
They've been left off the hook.
Is it acquitted and discharged?
No,
or
they have.
it is
The state have discontinued charges.
Not the prosecutor.
No, more like.
Or it is what?
So it's more like.
You are the legalist. So explain the legalist.
Knowledge prosecutor is virtually the same thing.
Yeah.
You are discontinuing the trial without even giving reasons to that. Yes. So what it cleared yesterday was that out of the 9, they say that after investigations they noticed that
the 7 of them are innocent.
Have to go. They will not press charges.
They will not press charges against them, so because they are innocent.
So yesterday, immediately
after,
yes. So 2 of them are facing.
So it means it was true that there were people who say they were there not doing anything and they were just bundled and then taken. So now they the state go to compensate them for their remand
for the number of days
they put them in and all of that.
It is now their decision
to sue the state.
Whether they decide to press civil action against.
You also test the law?
If
you're part.
You notice in all of this, there was a certain guy who has always been talking about his towel. This is the one in the African print. Yesterday he was so happy because one of those.
So did they give him his towel?
That's if the towel was found.
So yesterday,
but he's free.
Yes, yesterday after they were discharged, they decided to go to. You know when you get to the Supreme Court, when you have the mitals of rule of law, when they take some pictures and now they are on their way.
They've been left.
So 7 of them.
See how they are happy.
The chances are that there are more to come because tomorrow another set will come, and then on 26th another set will come. So as far as investigation, once prosecution gets that some of them are not connected, then they are free. So that's what happened in relation to that. So sometime in November 21st, they'll be back in court.
Okay.
But before we go, one of the lawyers have been speaking in relation to what happened yesterday. So let's listen.
Okay.
Decision of the state. I mean, you should see how excited they were. I mean, these are people, innocent people who were behind bars for a couple of days, and then finally the state has decided to drop charges against them. It should be a moment of joy for them and their family and their loved ones. Yes, there are some clients that the state has not dropped charges against them, and we will also continue with them and ensure that their liberty is also granted.
All right.
So that is one of the defense lawyers happy about the fact that
some
of
them
their clients
have been let go.
That's good news for them. That's good news for them.
So all the noise, the hula balloons and all that, at least some of them were right to say that they didn't do anything. They were not part of what happened. Yes.
All right. So
then there's an attempted suicide issue where CJ informing the justices that, well, it is no more a crime.
Yes. You notice that before now, when you try to take
your own life,
you are charged.
Crime
it's
against
an offense.
The state,
for trying to kill myself.
Yeah, to kill yourself because you didn't
take a life.
Yes,
you are committing murder on yourself.
You are killing yourself, so you didn't create yourself, so you can't take your life. So when you try that, it is an offense. I remember there were so many writs at the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to make a pronouncement on it. Then Parliament came in and abolished that particular act. The Chief Justice, through the Judicial Secretary, has been informing the judges and magistrates, particularly Circuit Court and the District Court. And let me go through quickly what the circular, a memo that have been sent to these judges and magistrates on the 18th of October says that all Circuit Court judges and magistrates, this decriminalization of attempted suicide in Ghana, I have been directed by the Honorable Lady Chief Justice to notify all Circuit Court judges and magistrates that attempted suicide has been decriminalized by the Criminal Offences Act, Criminal Offences Amendment Act, I must say 2023 Act 1092. She has further directed me, that's the Judicial Secretary, and directed me, that's the CJ directing the Judicial Secretary, to inform you that with the amendment of Section 57 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and Section 95 of the Menial Health Act 2012, Act 846 by Act 1092, persons who attempt suicide are no longer liable for prosecution and or conviction. Circuit Court judges and magistrates are to take note for compliance. And this one was signed by Justice Sarah Pamela C.A. Granting, Justice of the Court of Appeal, and the Judicial Secretary. So that is one of the things that the judges, some of the judges, or particularly the Circuit Court judges and the magistrates, have been informed.
All right, so attempted suicide is no more
an offense. So
will that not open the floodgates?
That's the concern over there.
It doesn't mean you should go and commit suicide, because if you go and commit suicide and you get in the middle of the process, and then you realize that, hey, I don't want to die again, and at that time it is too late, and then you are dying.
Yeah, that one there.
And then you get to Asamando, and you go and meet, there's some guy at Asamando, I don't know what his name is called, is it Amosini or Amochi or somebody?
I'm not sure.
And he's holding his cane.
It's Amachi.
And he's holding his cane.
When you go there, you
waiting for you. Then he will tell you that.
He
will tell you that. See, your life is precious. No matter the situation you are going through, suicide is not an option. Once there is life, there is hope. It doesn't matter what you are going through. I know sometimes it's difficult and you feel like you want to die.
Sometimes it can be really overwhelming.
But it is not the solution.
Really overwhelming,
Suicide is not the solution. If you're a Christian, keep on praying. God will always come through. If you're a Muslim, keep on praying. If you don't believe in anything, believe that the universe will orchestrate things for you. And just put your mind to working hard. Suicide is not an option. If you have broken hearts, don't go and kill yourself.
I You are speaking passionately.
Praise the Lord.
You have an experience. The way you are speaking.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And people actually kill their fellow humans
because of
they broke their hearts.
It is true.
Broken heart shouldn't be the reason why
we are making a lot of, but it is not something that people should take lightly. It is a very big
because
issue.
Once a life is lost, a lot of things are
and in
stake,
fact, people who try that even create problems for their families.
Yes.
So let's
look at the things that are coming up in court.
Yes.
Second lady, former second lady.
Yes.
Case.
Matilda Emita Yaba Arthur. Remember that there was a gentleman who allegedly robbed her house, together with some 4 others. The trial is expected to begin today. Yahuza Osmanu is expected in court to begin trial because prosecution have filed all necessary processes, all disclosures have been filed, witness statement have been filed, case management completion plan, case management conference, everything is done now. So now all set for the court to investigate circumstances leading to Yahuza Osmanu entering the home of the former second lady to attack, rob her, and some other, including some jewelries, some monies, and all that. So before Justice Lydia Osemafo, we'll know more today in relation to this very case. Okay. And then the issue involving the murder in Ashali. Yes. Safina Mohammed. You know, this is a jury trial, and since last year, when the court had fixed dates for the trial to commence, because of the absence of the jurors, they were on strike, or virtually for 2 months, for 3 months before the legal vacation. Now they are back. So today, this case is before Justice Lydia Osemafo again, and we will know more in relation to what happened and when exactly the trial will commence in relation to this. So these are some of the cases that we should expect coming out today.
Okay, Counsel.
Thank you to the
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch you later on the flip side, Captain.
Yes.
So that's Murtala Inusa with court today.
And we'll take a look at today's papers. Daily Guide newspaper, Baumia Adaklu chiefs sign fresh deal. Ghana Armed Forces refuse military interference claims. 4 MPs Ruhaha Bagbing suspends parliament. Court frees 7 protesters. SNIT pays 3.7 billion Ghana cedis to pensioners. So that's it for the Daily Guide newspaper. Move on to the Daily Graphic.
Yes. The Daily Graphic says Parliament adjourns indefinitely. Government business suffers. NPP MPs to trigger a recall. Springfield starts Afina Well appraisal. UG Business School lifts Business Sense Challenge trophy. That's it for the front page of the Daily Graphic.
All right, the Publisher newspaper, Afenyo Marking to trigger recall of Parliament reaffirms commitment to peace. And AG defends constitutionality of MPs retaining seats. Adaklu residents better off with NPP. That's according to Dr. Bamia. He's in the Volta region, campaigning seriously. And Ghana to bag $5 billion US from green gold annually. So that's the Publisher newspaper.
And now to the new crusading guide. Majority choose peace over NDC's chaos. Afenyo Marking leads NPP out of minority. Tension as Speaker adjourns House indefinitely. Judiciary ready to swiftly deal with election-related cases. Iyoko shows love Anna's former and current heads. GAF rebuffs, that's the Ghana Armed Forces, rebuffs claims of deploying military to interfere with parliamentary proceedings. Alan has agricultural revolution planned for northern Ghana. That's according to Alhaji Boniface Abubakar Sadiq. Come for your passports. This one day I'll rehash. Come for your passports. Ministry of Foreign Affairs to applicants. Your passport.
And also Chelsea.
Oh, you are the same people who come and complain that you go and do passports. It takes years. It takes 5 months. It takes 6 months. Now your passports are ready. Why are you not going for it? Please, from now, go for your passports.
Thank you. Let's go to Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch newspaper. It says that MPP is committed to ensuring peaceful elections. Napo to Christian Council. Over 78,000 Ghanaian passports ready for collection. Lily has told you. Kojo passports. Kojo passports. Ka passports no so anywhere. And come on and beba betina se akase. And I got passports they my and a passport now you say and a passport now you say Kojo passports. Now that everybody wants to jack back for the country. Everybody wants to go to US and Canada. The way people are going to Canada. Charlie, the Canada it has come.
You see that, eh?
Charlie, the Canada. People, what is it with people are going to the Canada?
Yeah. Charlie, the cold there too, but people still want to.
Charlie, there's this dentist friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, dentist friend. He's a dentist. Like
and he's
practicing
gone.
This dentist, all of that. I was there one day now. Then he texted me, Charlie, I'm in Canada. I was like, hey. Like I was talking to you last week. Then this week, Canada.
No.
Another friend of mine. She's a nurse.
Go to Jakarta.
Before I realized, no, she called me video call.
I'm in Canada.
I'm in Canada.
Hey. Charlie, Jackpot season. Jackpot season.
People stay in Ghana. Let's build Ghana, please. Let's build Ghana. Stay in Ghana and let's build. Or when you get to Jackpot.
Oh,
I mean, Jackpot to the US. But it took divine intervention to bring you back.
No, I didn't decide to stay. I mean, I just needed some time.
It took divine intervention.
As for Jackpot, yeah.
But there are some people they get to the US. One lie.
The
World Cup that is coming. The World Cup that is coming. That we are going to do the World Cup in US and Canada. The people that the supporters that they will give, if they make mistake and give the supporters visa to go to you, they will come back.
A chunk of the population will be abroad.
They will come back. See. Ministry of Youth and Sports. Whoever will be sports minister, when Ghana qualifies for the World Cup,
can see this morning.
whether it is MPP or NDC, whoever will be sports minister, see, be very careful. There are supporters that you give visa.
Supporters union
to go to US and Canada to go and support Black Stars. They will come back. Oh, they will come back. This one is Canada and US. They will come back.
Lantam. Don't stop people shine. Who's spoiling a man for? Let's make it. See, Ghana is nice. So. No, but me honestly, I don't want to live abroad again. Ghana is nice. So Charlie.
Let's stay. If I go, I'll just go visit and come back.
Of course, that's exciting.
Yeah, Charlie. Nonetheless,
if you want to go, if you have a better chance at a job or something, Charlie. If you
if you go, work small and come back and come and build Ghana. That is what you should do.
That is the challenge. They will come here on retirement.
That is what Sarkodie said in Boga Boga in a year. Then first Makodi holidays. Number few nami.
It will be a case.
Boga Boga in a year.
Anyway,
let's continue.
What more? Are you done with the?
I'm done. Okay. I'm done. Custodian newspaper.
The Custodian newspaper is next paper. It says AG files defense in 4 MPs case. NDC turning Parliament into lawless theatre. That's according to Alexander Kwamna Penyoma. Can you pick up your passports again? Okay. Adaklu residents better off under NPP. That's according to Dr. Balmiasi campaigns in the Volta region. That's it for the Custodian.
All right. Ghanaian Observer. Ghanaian Observer. Where is the Chronicle? We want to read the Bible verse on the Chronicle. Ghanaian Observer newspaper today says that Afenyomakin fires NDC peace non-negotiable vote number 1 in December elections. That is one of the MPs in the Ashanti region. Your passport, that's Kingsley Nyako, I believe. Your passports are ready for collection. Go and collect them. But when you collect them, when you go, come back. We've already told you. NAPO highlights free SHS successes. So that's it for the Ghanaian Observer newspaper.
The Chronicle. Bagbe requested for bomb detectors from army to sweep chamber before yesterday's sitting. Really? Why would anybody? Anyway, we won't follow minorities patapa. One corner, yeah. But yesterday, majority was pushed to one corner. Yeah. Yeah. That's according to opinion marking. Green Gold agenda to rake in $5 billion annually. That's according to Kwabos, Professor Todankan. The memory verse for this morning, Isaiah 3:11.
Isaiah 4 ngoma, etre dubako.
Etre
miensa, nchichemu dubako.
Woe to the wicked.
Die Any trimudin for.
It will go badly with him.
And they won't hear that.
For what he deserves to be done to him.
Because they are fatal, no? Yeah, they may.
This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
So that's it for the Chronicle newspaper this morning.
And that's it for today's papers. And thank you very much for tuning in. The breakfast review is coming up next. But of course, look at me, Lily. Look at me.
He's been authentically authenticated.
Thank you
by
very
the
much.
authentic
Will
man.
I give you 360?
Yes, please do. Please do. Please do. Oh, yeah, guy, what's it? Abanti Huchao. Oh, Gelana. Lantam, you're not responsible. Today here on GHOne TV. It's now time for the breakfast review. Welcome back to the show. As always, on Wednesdays, we bring you an all-female ensemble. This morning, I've been joined by Awokekeli Adubia. She's a member of the NDC communications team. We are waiting the arrival of Ellen Amadeko. She's a member of the NPP communications team. But Awo is here. Let me start with Awo. Good morning to you.
Good morning, dear.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing well too. This is my first time meeting you, so you're welcome.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Most of the Wednesdays I'm somewhere else. So
I know.
It's like
call to duty.
How for do?
But how's the campaign going?
Campaign is doing well. I'm from the Ablekuma West constituency. And a member of the campaign.
Esle's constituency.
A member of the campaign's team. And let me mention this. The constituency chairman of Ablekuma West NDC, Bright Ahoto, is doing so well. And I'm calling on national and region, all well-doing NDC members in the constituency elsewhere should come help us, because the grounds are fertile. The place is good for this 2024 elections.
You think so?
Yes.
What do you think are your chances?
99%.
99%?
Sure.
Against an incumbent who is a sitting minister?
Yes.
What makes you so confident about Ablekuma West?
I'm so confident because I grew up in Ablekuma West.
Okay.
I've stayed there all my life. I had my children and they've all grown there. And looking at the developmental projects that are going on in Ablekuma West, it's been done by the NDC all these years. And if you look at what we did and how they left it to rot, especially double carriage road, the main street.
At some point, I lived in Ablekuma West.
So okay. So you know what I'm talking about. It used to be a single lane, and when we're trying to do it during Fritz Baffle's time, they told us, it wasn't possible. We can't have it. We did it, and go check that road. I live down the road, so I normally don't use it. But one of these days on our campaign rounds, visiting some branches in the constituency, we use the road, and because it's been a while, we nearly killed ourselves because some of the potholes were just bad. And if you look at the exhibition roundabout, the pothole around the roundabout is something else. And if you are not careful driving at night and you don't know that there are potholes, it's going to be something else. I just don't know. So looking at the work we've done when we were in power, till now that they've been in power, our sitting MP has been there since 2013. Yeah. She won the 2012 elections, and if you look at the MPP coming to power from 2016 up till now, it's over 8 years of them being in power, or of her being on that seat. That's 12
about
years.
8 years.
Over, because she's been there since 2012.
Yes.
So it's over 8 years.
It's been 12 years of her
yes,
reign.
Yes, and she's really not giving us any touch in that constituency. When you go to the Begbese, the Glefe areas, it's a mess. You can see.
But why? I mean, Begbese and Glefe has not seen significant improvement, even under your government.
We tried doing something. If you look at Shiabu, then they told us, she in particular, and Ameli Tegu then of blessed memory told us that those areas shouldn't be, human beings shouldn't be living in those areas. So it wasn't possible to do anything about it. When then Ameli Tegu was taking the seats all those times. And when we came, for Fritz Baffle's 4 years, the kind of things we did in that area, to let the people also know that they belong. Whether human beings were supposed to stay there then, and nothing happened. At least we made them feel that they are human beings, they can stay there, because the people were staying there anyway. So what would you have done? At least make it comfortable for them, make sure that their roads were done, we gave them electricity, we made sure that the community was able to grow.
But the roads have gone bad again.
Because we left power. We left that.
Is it an indication that the roads were not constructed properly? Because I have gone to Glefe a year ago, and I can tell you that it was unmortable, and it was raining, so you could imagine the struggle I had to go through. It was unmortable.
A year ago, who is the MP there? Which government is in power? Which government is in power?
The NPP.
For an MP whose government is in power, who is a minister, for that matter, I expect her to do better.
But it's not an MP's job to construct roads.
But they always promise us that.
But that is not an MP's job.
You know it's not your job, but you can lobby for it. You can make sure that your common fund is being used for some of these things. You can work with the DCE, and I know the DCE has been her campaign manager since 2012.
Okay.
So whatever it is, she has that personal rapport with the DC, who is a friend, who is a campaign manager, who is whatever, that she can walk to the man's office, tell him we need this. The roads that recently she was on a platform saying that people are saying that rents in Dansoman is so expensive, or in Ablekuma West is expensive. It's because she's giving us roads, and I was like, whoa, which road? Recently I realized that I grew up in Dansoman. I grew up around the Mames Inn. I realized she's doing toppeting. I don't know if you understand that.
Yes.
That kind of road that, and recently when it was raining, I just decided to pass through. I told my chairman when I'm going on one of those rounds, let's pass through. You can see the sand already. And if this is the road, and based on that, you are telling me that rent should go up, then it's unfortunate. I thought she was going to say that, oh, people are saying rent is up, so I'm going to do something about it as the MP of the area or something. But for you to say that because you are giving us road, the Tupeti roads or the roads that were constructed, that you have left to go rot, or you have left it to go even bad, is that the road she's talking about, or what is she talking about? And I want Ablekuma West people to know that the rent is not high because of roads. Because for my area, we don't even have roads. We just try to
Magazine?
No, I've left that place.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my father's house. Now I'm on my own. And it's bad. When it rains, if I have some videos here in my house, if I show you the water in my house as I speak, I have to wear boots out before I wear my shoe. You will pity me. And so if an MP is telling you this, it means that she's lost touch of the people or of the things on the ground, and she doesn't even care at all. And so these are the things we are talking about. So if people are voting for her based on party colors and that kind of, then they should think about it. We gave them schools, we have given them roads, we gave them everything they need. All the things they have in Ablekuma West was given to them by the NDC. So if they are still voting for the MPP who is giving them nothing, then I don't know. Because if I'm hungry and you starve me for a long time and you bring me food, I'm not able to eat. So that is what the MPP is doing now. So if they come with the money, take it. Whatever they come with, it belongs to us. Because for her common fund, I'm yet to see what she's done with it.
Okay, so let's delve into issues. We've talked about Ablekuma West. Our cameras will go through Ablekuma West to see the real situation on the ground. And I'm sure that on any of our Election Hub programs, either Campaign Uncensored or any other programs, we'll tell you what really is the situation on the ground, even on Voters Connect as well. But let's delve into issues. Yesterday, Parliament was back in session. Speaker adjourned it indefinitely over the vacant seat controversy, because the Speaker alluded to the fact that he's been served processes in the Supreme Court, and he has actually filed another process against the vacation of the seats. But I don't know what you think. The NPP says if the Speaker's adjournment takes too long, we are going to trigger a recall.
You see, when this first thing happened, I asked the question, was it right when MPP did it? Is it wrong?
They have admitted that Speaker Okwe was wrong. And even he himself, he has admitted that it was wrong.
Oh, so till now? they didn't know he was wrong. Or nobody, not even one of them realized that whatever was happening then was wrong. You see, then they had the majority. So for them, it was a cool chop. They had the vast majority. So if one person is out, it was normal. But you see, I was telling someone, and the person was like, I was being mischievous. And I said, no. When our father, the former president, Kufuor, was leaving power, he tasked the MPP to go in for someone who can unite the party first and the nation at large. But this is a president who has really destroyed the MPP.
How so?
Look at everything that is happening in the MPP. Everything is not even going right with them. A lot of things. Because this is a president who decided that he doesn't want to work with some people. His chairman then and his vice. Some people were bad with acid and all that.
But that is not the doing of President Akufo-Addo.
Sweetheart, when you're a leader, have you forgotten even in this country, when somebody goes into their bedroom and they can't have erection, it was the doing of Mahama. Then it was right, too. Then it was sweet because it was Mahama. It was the NDC. Now that is the MPP and it's Nana Addo Bawumia. Everybody wants to kind of show them and cover them. We know the kind of demonstrations Nana Addo went on in this country prior to him being a president. And that's what made him Nana Addo, is demonstrations. But try to do anything of that sort. Protesters are being arrested, jailed, blah, blah, and all that.
But how is that a doing of the president, the rest of protesters?
Sweetheart, we have an IGP who is scared that if I don't do certain things,
you think this current IGP is scared?
A lot.
Really?
Because at a point, they wanted to take him out. A whole lot of things went on, and we saw Parliament even going through some of these things. We don't know how far it even went, because for me, I've not heard anything again. And there's someone who is just being careful that he will maintain his position till he's out of...
I doubt this current IGP will bow to any pressure.
That's your opinion.
But for you in the NDC, is that the opinion of the NDC, or it is your opinion?
It's my opinion. I've always said, I'm sure there are people who might like his style, people in the NDC. But for me, I've always said that this is an IGP who wants to always be on the social media in the good books of people, and he wants to be hailed and all that. But I don't see the kind of things he do and he does properly. Because he's careful not to step on certain mighty toes so that he's not taken out. And it happened that we all saw what happened with his junior colleagues who wanted him out and all that, who felt that our party is in power, and so this person doesn't deserve to be there and all that. And let me go on to what we were trying to...
about Parliament.
About Parliament. You asked your certain MP, an MPP MP, to be sacked because he decided to go independent. And today you are telling us that he did wrong. He wasn't supposed to do that. They were not supposed to do that. So when did they realize that? So if the president was wrong, and now someone is trying to follow the same precedent. But you see, I was trying to ask this question. You allow somebody to contest on your party's ticket to go to Parliament. Then all of a sudden, the person comes back to tell you, I tricked you. I'm not interested going back on that ticket again. I want to go on my own. I want to do it independently. And you are saying that, it is normal. We should let the person sit. Meanwhile, per the constitution of this country, or some of the articles in Parliament, and precedents, because I don't think Esiama is even the first one. I remember Wayo saying he even decided to walk in Parliament. But he didn't know that as soon as you decided to switch, you were out. And they made sure that he got out of Parliament. That one, nothing was said about it. But Esiama, nothing was said about it. As soon as you are becoming the minority, you have issues with it. You are running to court. I've always said that.
There are arguments that whatever decision will take effect in the next parliament, hence the 9th parliament. So it doesn't hold water in this 8th parliament.
But those times it did. The previous one, those precedents did then. Because you thought you had the majority or the other side had the minority or whatever, so it won't affect us in any way. So because of that, this time around, we are not going to allow it because we are going to have a minority. How? Yesterday, I just looked at Afenyo Makin's demeanor. I realized that looking at even those who followed, he didn't even have the number in the first place. How many people, MPs followed him? Most of them are campaigning. Because most of them have realized that they are losing their seats. So they are not even interested in whatever you are trying to do at Parliament. He is trying to protect that title he has as the leader of the majority. He doesn't even care what happens to his MPs or Parliament at large.
That's what you think?
Yes. He's not thinking about, because he didn't even have the numbers. In the first place, if you were even thinking of doing government business, the NDC side was there, full house. And your side, how many people did you bring to Parliament? You want to do, you said you went to court based on government, whatever, business. And what did you bring to Parliament to do government business? Nothing. Because you didn't have the numbers. Even if...
Is it because of the pictures? Because the pictures does not suggest that they were in the House. They didn't come in because, a lot of them didn't come in because their seats were occupied by the NDC caucus.
The last parliament, what was the ruling in Parliament? That the NDC is now the majority. Obviously, their sitting positions change. And so,
there's a Supreme Court ruling for a stay of execution.
Meaning, that's whatever that went to Supreme Court did before the ruling. I don't know if I'm wrong.
No, so
it was I gathered. Afenyo Makins went to court before Speaker made that judgment.
Yes, but the Supreme Court ruled after the decision of Speaker Biden.
So based on what? Based on the Speaker's decision, which had not been taken to court, or based on what Afenyo Makins took to court. So I was trying to say something before I think you came in. That the Supreme Court should know that our democracy is still young. So they shouldn't be dancing to the tunes of the MPP every time. You see, I have issues with this, our judges. Anytime you speak about them, it's like contempt of court and they want to drag you here and there. But they are not helping this nation at all with some of the things they do. I remember we took e-levy to court. Before it was passed into law, did they even do anything about that? They took our bluff and they just made sure that MPP got away with whatever happened. We have things, this family value bill. Is it not still with the CJ?
Yes.
And what is she doing about that? But this one, it went to court in the morning. By afternoon, you are rushing to do that. As if you have something against the NDC and the Speaker of Parliament. What did we do to her? What has the NDC done to Supreme Court or the CJ? What has the NDC done to the judges in this country so bad that they can't even think of the nation, the democracy, the young democracy that we are trying to nurture, the young democracy that we are trying to build to make sure that our children will inherit something good in this country. They wouldn't have to come. Look, if you look at the volatile situation around the sub-region, the coups and all that, I've always said that we are not better off than them. It's because of some of these petty things. And when you go and talk, people are saying that we are trying to instigate people against the judges or that kind of thing, which is not true. But our actions are telling us that we are not interested in the good of the nation. So what would the numbers do for the MPP? Why couldn't they do their homework well? Make sure that all the people who were who tried to go independent couldn't have done that. Must you wait? And they shouldn't forget that we have one too. There's an NDC member who also filed to go independent. Why is the NDC also not crying? We would have also wanted more numbers in Parliament. Is that not it? But if we are helping the nation,
if the one person is out, if the one person seat is declared vacant, it doesn't affect you. They have more numbers in terms of the declaration of vacancies?
That's not what we are looking at as NDC. We are looking at the good of the nation. To do the right thing, we want to set precedents that in future, when somebody picks it, we will now not go back and say that, oh, because this person did it, it was wrong or it was bad. Do you understand? Now, I'm sure that if it's the MPP who did this thing, they will sit somewhere saying that this thing was wrong. I am very sure of that. And the courts would have, by now, still keep whatever we have taken to court. If it's the NDC that went to court, they wouldn't have responded to it by now. And anything could have happened. But I was like, the NDC was in Parliament. The chief whip, who decided to bus his constituents from in Saomadodri, which is one of my constituencies, to Parliament. Instead of him whipping his people to come to Parliament, let's agree, let's work, because we need things to go through before we go into this election. The government needs to pass bills or whatever the government has laid before Parliament. Let's look at it. Does the numbers matter? Yes or no? The NDC is majority now, but they are ready to work with you. They are not ready to work against the business of government or government's business. They are not ready to say that because we are majority now, we want to make sure that things will not go well with you. No. So why would you want to even go this far to call boycott? Me also affirm your case that he since he was even made the what's the name, the majority leader, he's failed woefully. Every time he's having issues that he cannot solve, and he's blaming people for it. Any leader who wants to blame people, who wants to take excuses for his inadequacies, his responsibility, then you should know that the leader has failed woefully. And this is a case for you. He's not been able to put his majority side together since he was made the majority leader. So he shouldn't blame anybody. He shouldn't blame the speaker. He shouldn't blame whatever. You went to court. Okay, court has given ruling. Come to Parliament. So, there was a ruling before you guys went on Friday that NDC has become the majority. So let them sit there. If you are really serious and you mean business, this shouldn't be an issue. You come. Whatever it is, I'm sure the speaker could have gone around it and made sure that things were done properly. And I'm sure whatever decision he has taken, he's done that rightfully because of Ghanaians. And he wouldn't want maybe things to get out of it. You are not ready to come to Parliament. We have people, we can do this, but we can't take decisions. We can do business, we can't take decisions.
We can have a quorum.
Yeah, but we can't take decisions. So they are ready to come. Let's go. You two, we have campaign to do. And this, we are also going into an election. And MPs want to win more seats.
This parliament would go on recess in November, I think November 14 or 15. That's the final recess, so that they can go to their various constituencies and then come back
campaign. After the
elections.
But it doesn't look like the MPP is interested. I don't know what their plans are. Because
don't you think they're also concerned about government business?
They are not.
How?
So if they are, I'm sure they will be in Parliament yesterday.
Because they were in Parliament, but their seats, they said their seats were taken by the NDC.
What happened on Friday? I said
on Thursday.
Thursday when they were in Parliament. The speaker said the NDC now is majority. You said you have gone to court. There is a ruling of stay. So, did you come back to hear what the speaker has to say? No. So the speaker decided to...
So, per the Supreme Court ruling, then the NDC is the minority.
No, but the Parliament has its own autonomy. We have three arms of government.
Separation of powers.
We have separation of powers. So they can't just, because there's a ruling, so automatically it happens. No. I'm not a lawyer. I've not even gone to the law, so I don't have LLB, so I can't even go into the nitty-gritties of those things. But I believe that the courts cannot just every time want to throw things at Parliament like that. I don't think it's fair. Because whatever it is, Parliament also has its own rights. They have whatever mandate they've been given. And you can't just sit there and be throwing things, causing confusions everywhere like that, especially the CJ. No, it's not the best. And meanwhile, when you need anything, you have to go back to Parliament. Especially you have two judges, I think they said they have to So what if the speaker decides that it won't happen? And for what is happening, I don't think it will happen. So the elections are over.
You don't think the parliament will be recalled anytime soon?
Who is interested? If you were not interested yesterday, today I should be interested. I don't know about parliamentarians.
They want to recall parliament so that government business can continue. There are certain bills that need passing. There are certain loan approvals.
You see, MPP think they can.
Especially the ally that has got to do with mining and forest reserves. Organized labor has been up in arms against government. We're talking about it. All of us are talking about it. That ally suffers.
So, were they serious? Were they really ready to work? When the people you are fighting against were in parliament, waiting to do business. Yesterday was not just about Supreme Court's ruling. They came to parliament to work. So it's if you decided not to, why? It's your party that is in power. And so if you thought, or they think, whatever they are doing will go against the NDC, then they are joking. They don't mean well for Ghanaians. Look, those, especially that mining ally, they are not interested in it. Because the people have told us that they will not do anything about Galamsey because they lost elections. Meanwhile, I don't know which area they lost. All the Ashanti seats, they took it. And those are mining areas. So which seat did they lose? Because you people did not govern this nation well in 2020. So people wanted you out. And unfortunately, they twisted arms and it went in their favor when it came to the presidential because we had an issue who come and announced results 3 times. And nobody said anything about it in this country. And so she thinks that she can do whatever and anything at any time and she doesn't care what anybody says. Whatever she needs, she gets. Whatever she wants, she will get. So she's like that. And you see, God is not asleep. God have really told MPP that you lost some of those seats. But because of some machination, twisting of arms, you got those seats. And now it's come back to the rightful owners, the NDC, which is now the majority, and you are crying. Who are you crying to? Ghanaians who wanted you out, who are tired of your governance, the kind of things that have gone on. Look at the city. When we said we had an economic wizard, with Kate, Voodoo, who when he throws his talisman, he has all the solutions to our economic issues. And look at us today, where we are. You can't even go to market, buy this thing at 20 cedis and go the next time. I give you an example. I went to this thing. I wanted some insecticide, but I realized I didn't have enough money. So let me go to a Momo vendor do it. So after getting the Momo vendor, so let me just buy the things around. Then when I come back, I'll just buy it and move. After I'd come back, the guy told me the price has changed. Why? He said that one, it was the only one left. And the lady just bought it and he had to go and buy one. And when he went, the price has changed. Within 2 hours, a price of an item, 50% on it. And I decided not to buy it because I can't buy it. I budgeted for things and that one cannot just change my budget. It's unfortunate. These are the things that are happening and people are just tired of you. And instead of you making things right, the little time that you have that you write things for Ghanaians, you are here fighting over seats, fighting over titles. You want to be majority leader. You are a minority leader now. So the speaker, based on whatever will happen, says he's also
filed processes to vacate the ruling.
Yes. Will say this, and why would you even want to fight over this thing when you have a campaign to do, when you have things to go do? They are losing, so they should lose honorably. We are not interested in these gimmicks. Honestly, the MPP is making this country something. Sometimes you really wish you are out of this country, but we know that we also have things to do. Honestly, we have a lot to do as the opposition, as a people, as a nation, to help build this country. So they should give us a break. Honestly, this parliament, since day one.
Yeah, it started with chaos and drama.
And look at how we are ending. And we call these people honorable people.
Is that no indication of the end justifies the means?
End
justifies the means.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of it, we have become the majority. And so it's telling you what will go into the election. Really? We are winning clean. And yes, I can't say it's ensure, but I won't from and so this is it. The little that they are saying is, they will always tell you that, train we be kakra. This one we also train them be kakra. So after your Marquis and his group, they should let go and not on prayer if he had anything to. We could have whipped his people, not his constituents, poor constituents, busing them to come and do what? What if NDC decided to retaliate? You can imagine what would have happened there yesterday.
I'm sure because you heard that there were reports of some of your colleagues who said they should go there in their numbers. I saw a post by Mustafa Mande who said that the NDC should go to Parliament in their numbers. So was it not an attempt to also bring their people in their numbers?
I think we also saw a directive from Parliament because of security issues. They were going to. And he's a leader in Parliament, so he should have known better. Did you see any NDC?
No.
Apart from our MPs?
No.
Because we are law-abiding people. We are sane people. If there is a directive from Parliament, because of security reasons, we don't want people in and out of Parliament. We decided to stay. So bringing those people to do what? At the end of it, you came to even disgrace yourself more. So your constituency, if I were in that constituency, if I vote there, because it's one of my constituencies, if I vote there, I would have made my people know that. And I will go there. That the man is not serious. He's just taking you for granted. Because he's a leader in Parliament. He was told that we shouldn't bring people to Parliament, party supporters and whatever, because of security reasons. Let parliamentarians come to Parliament and have some sane minds and work. But they decided, because they wanted to, it was funny how he even got inside the chamber when they said the place will be open at 8, but he was in the chamber before 8. Is this person a law-abiding person? I thought he's a lawmaker. So such a person, we vote for him to go and sit there. He would tell us things. The last time he was on air telling us the NPP did more, NDC did more galamsey, so they will do more. So these are people we are voting for. So the constituents should look at him again. If they have any vote, if they have anything, because going to Sawam Adroju, he's done nothing there. I come from there and I go there. It's unfortunate since my father died, I normally don't go there that much. But we know the kind of things that NDC did, and now that we are not in power, what is happening in those areas? They wait when it's election, then they come giving you gifts. They come giving you that all over the place. But you don't think of the nation. You don't think developing. What do they do with the common fund? Anyway, this era, the common fund wasn't even forthcoming anyway under the MPP. It's unfortunate. Everything under MPP is just... Look, let me bring in this. Yesterday, my mom said she was going to the hospital. I asked my nephew to take her, a niece. At the hospital, she called me. She has NHIs. I heard it's expired or something. Then she said that she went there 2 weeks ago. So according to her, they renewed it.
Where was it renewed? At the hospital? Or
I know
on phone?
No, I don't know. But I don't know whether she did not understand whatever happened. Because according to what she told me when she got home, it was renewed, the NHIS. I said, okay. Then yesterday, because she said some of the drugs that she was giving were not sitting well with her, so I asked her when I was leaving the house to go back, tell the doctor this is what is happening. She called me. I was even on air, so when I left today, I had to call her fast because I knew she wasn't. She said she should pay again. Why? Because and I said why? She said they said the NHIS was not renewed. I said okay, but you were giving card. So why do you pay for another card? And she said they said she should pay for the card. So I spoke with my niece and she said yes, they are paying for the card. I said okay, they should pay. I just want her to be taken care of. So they paid a whole lot, and I'm like, so I know when you go to hospital, okay, you don't have NHIS, so you pay for. I know Rage, when your card is expired, they renew it there for you, so you pay the difference. Then you continue treatment or whatever. So I thought that was what will happen. That's Mamprobi Polyclinic. For her to go the following 2 weeks, you are taking money for card again. So I just don't get it. So you see, what I'm trying to drive at is nothing is working under the MPP. Nothing. Virtually nothing.
But the
so
NHIS
if I pay for
now is automatic renewal. I have renewed my NHIS and it was automatic. Once I paid for the renewal, it was done and I could use it to the hospital.
For her, she didn't know it was even expired. Because she said she has it, I said okay, she should just go use it. fine, it was expired. I don't have any issue because when anything is, you renew it. But for you to tell her it's going to be renewed or whatever, you took her money, gave her a card. You know, when you go to government hospital, they now have some card. It's just like, it's brown in color also. You gave her that card. That's the same thing I got at Ridge when I went to Ridge. So I thought it has been renewed. For you to give her, so, okay, aside the NHIS, what of the card you give her? Do you pay for card every time you go to hospital? No. That's my, yes. So why should she, an old lady, why should she even pay for it again? I told her I've not tried renewing NHIS on the phone. I've not tried it, so I don't know how it works. So I'll try and see if today, when I'm home, I can try and help her with that. But why should I pay for card twice? People have realized that the systems are not working. So people are also taking advantage of the system. Because if institution systems are working, I don't think that I go to hospital, pay for a card. The following time I come to the hospital, I pay for a card again. This is a government hospital, not even a private hospital. So the MPP have a lot to do. Even before we go into elections, we've messed up every part of the economy. Our system now is not working. In my area now, Ablekuma West, it's like almost every day. If not for 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, your light has to go off. Every day.
In Ablekuma West?
In Ablekuma West. Okay. So if we are talking about doomsday, they will tell you somebody brought doomsday for 4 years. Because the person, excuse me to use that word, invented the doomsday in his own government to make his own government unpopular. You see, sometimes when we are making some of these arguments, it doesn't even tally. It doesn't, and the kind of double standards we have as MPP, people in power, behaving as if they are once in opposition. They are always referring someone to the past. When you are in power, someone was voted, the NDC, let me be precise, was voted out of power based on what you told them, the things you said. Today the NDC is in opposition. You still go back and refer to them. Are these people serious? I always say that they are just not fit for purpose. If you are fit for purpose, you won't go back. The people you campaigned against, they were voted out of power. 8 years into this, you still go back and they did this and they didn't do this. What were you voted for? To come and compare, to come and tell us that somebody did it worse or bad, or somebody didn't do good, so I'm going to do it bad and worse. These are the people we are faced with. And these are people who want re-election. Akufo-Addo is not ready to hand over to NDC and that master John Dramani Mahama, but he's ready to hand over to Bawumia because he will cover up their loot. The NDC is saying that when we come to power, we are going to have something called Operation Recover or Loot. Because you see, we have a lot of things to do and we will need money. So we are going to make sure that we recover all the things they have stolen, all the monies they have stolen. We will go through the process with them. We are going to strengthen the IOCO and the courts and make sure that all those monies are taken. Like the stress-free first year university fees. So that's all tertiary, because I used to have people in the church. So we had to come up with a welfare scheme. First year students, they are not able to go because they don't have the fees, and because of that they miss their admissions and they have to maybe go work and all that. So if the NDC wants to make that possible for parents and guardians, I think is a good call. And so where are we going to get the money? From all this loot, we are not going to bring in people who come and cover up for the loot. We have to make sure that Ghana will be where it's supposed to be. Okay, we can do it and we will do it. The NDC will make sure that our children, our wards, our nephews, nieces will not be in the house because there is no first year fees to pay for them to get admission into the tertiary universities. And when you are in your second year, I've also always connected this to the 24-hour economy. Some of us didn't go to university. I was of the old Cambridge. I went for A-level. But we didn't go to university straight. We went working. We went to university whilst our kids, we sat in the class with our kids. So we worked to go to school. So if our children are serious, this 24-hour economy, when it's done, they can have opportunities to work. When you go outside, that's what we do. You go and work 1 hour here, 2 hours here, 3 hours here, and you are good to go. You are able to go to school to feed yourself, to pay some of the fees if you are not on scholarships. Do you understand? So they can get some jobs to do 3 hours, 4 hours, because I know when you are in school, you can't work 8 hours as it is in this country. At least a little that can support you, support your parents to buy your books. And we even have the student loan. You take advantage of the student. This loan is not going to be like fees. We give 200 across. No. We'll make sure that if your fees is 1,000.
So tailor-made?
Tailor-made fees. We give you that loan. You go pay your fees. And we make sure that children come out of school. We will make sure that you only start paying when you are working. We are talking about a loan that will not, you wouldn't need guarantors. So that people are saying that you are not my child, I wouldn't guarantee. I used to work as a, so I know how it is like when people will guarantee, people are on pension and we don't get them paying the money and they don't get their pensions. So this time around, we don't want the aged also to go through that pain of not getting their monies when they are on pension. So you don't need a guarantor to do that for you. We have this women bank coming. And we are not talking only about the market women. We are talking about entrepreneurs who are into businesses, who need capitals for to push up their business, to expand their businesses and all that. Especially with this 24-hour economy, you need a capital to push into your business. And this women's bank, it's going for women who are into entrepreneurship.
Are you also on the playing on the tangent of the NPP who say the panacea to everything is free SHS? The panacea to everything is 24-hour economy.
No, but I've spoken about the free fees, stress-free fees across.
Is that also part of 24-hour economy?
No, I just
you just linked it.
Okay. That students who are serious, who wouldn't want to go in for loans, that after school you might not want to be paying whilst you are getting your salaries and all that. You can still get jobs to do if those bills are passed into power. We have women too who are into entrepreneurship and they might want to expand, because I remember, Takai is being produced here. It's our baby.
I know.
The late Shirley IT, that's her baby. And we had a country that I've forgotten who wanted a quantity, but we couldn't produce. We couldn't produce because we didn't have that capacity.
Okay.
But when companies are expanded, we can also export most of our goods. Most of the things we import here, we can produce them here. When you get companies who are being supported with their electricity bills, with finances and all that, I'm sure they can expand.
Is that not what the NPP seeks to do with 1D1F?
And where is it? They didn't even tell us they were going to do it private. Fine, but if you decided to do it, where is it? If we had 1D1F, most of these young people would have been doing well.
Okay.
Most of our districts, we wouldn't have to get Kaya Yeo coming down. We wouldn't have everybody coming down to the urban areas looking for.
But you had Kaya Yeo under the NDC as well.
We didn't promise, or we were not doing it then. We started something. We started the tomato factory in the north. We started the sugar factory, which they want to sell now. We started the shea butter factory in the north. So at least you won't get it done at once. We were somewhere. If they had continued with some of these things, or the promise they gave Ghanaians, I'm sure today won't be here. They gave us a one village, one dam. But today, they are giving grains, they are giving monies to farmers. What happened to the dams? The dams that they said they created. If we had dams then working, I don't think our farmers would be going through. Because of that, we are buying KK at 7 cedis. I don't know about your area. My area, I buy 5 cedis and 7 cedis. If you want to eat well, at least 7 cedis is good. But 5 cedis,
well, in my area, I sold at 5 cedis.
We have 5 cedis and 7 cedis, depending on your tummy. Which one? Some people buy the 10 cedis, 5 cedis. People were saying they have 10 cedis. I'm yet to see 10 cedis, though I've not seen that. But if we had this one village, one dam, and farmers were using the dams for irrigation and all that, I don't think we'll be here. When the minister wants money to give to farmers, when did this one start? Under the NPP. It's never been. We had farms working. We had most of our cocoa farmers were giving them new seedlings because most of the farms were old We gave them new seedlings for free. We're giving fertilizers for free, and which we will continue to do when we come to power. So that all these galamsey areas, all these people who want to sell their cocoa farms because they think that now the farms have become useless, they are not getting anything out of the farms, can do well going into this election. We are going to go back to the free fertilizers. We are going to go back to free cocoa seedlings. We want to make sure that all these galamsey pits are covered. Just like Zoil, where we have the beaches being swept, taking dirt out. When they came, it was cancelled. Now we have polythene entering the sea. And there was a research I was watching on TV saying that from every fish we consume from the sea, there's an amount of polythene we consume. So it's becoming scary. So all those things will come back. We'll make sure the forest will not be entered. No galamsey will happen in the forest areas. Those reserve forests will be there for reserve.
So if you want the forest reserves to be preserved, why don't you accept minority, as the Supreme Court has said, let the Speaker recall Parliament and then pass that, reverse that ally?
Didn't we call Parliament yesterday? Were they there?
Well, they were there, but their seats were taken.
Which seats? It didn't belong to them anyway.
Okay.
But if you were serious for government business and really mean well for Ghanaians, you wouldn't fight over seats. Would that seat reject you when you sit on it? What will happen to the seat when you sit on it? Nothing. You could have argued your seats in Parliament. How do you argue your seats on air? How do you argue your case when you are not there with the person? Do you know what the man had in mind? No. So now he's decided to also file back. Do you understand? If you were there, do you know what would have happened?
Okay.
So these people are just not serious. They just don't mean well for Ghanaians. That's what I want Ghanaians to understand.
Okay.
So the forest, we are going to recover it. All those licenses that have been given to mining them, it won't happen. It will be taken back. During NDC time, 8 years, we gave only 57 licenses to small-scale miners. Now we have over 5,500. Over. The day you called organized labor to your office, 13 was given out. How? Meaning, we are just trying to throw dust into our eyes. If you really meant what you call the people for, the day you call the organized labor into your office, if I should put it that way, to the Flagstaff, you gave licenses out. Go and mine. Go and destroy the forest. Go and destroy our water bodies.
But giving license to mine does not mean that it is.
If you are serious, you wouldn't have done it.
It is a ticket to go destroy our
He
lands
wouldn't have done it when we were trying to fight the thing. You have given more than necessary to people. And now we are facing the consequence. Instead of you cutting it, you decided to give more. So what are you trying to tell us? If you give me license to I paid for it, will I go and sit home with it? I won't. I'll go also mine. And people now, even the small-scale farmers have joined the galamsey because they think that those people are getting more than they are getting. So let us also join them. When then you can mine on the land, you don't need to mine in the water or the rivers. This is
what's now back to the issues surrounding Parliament, the Amenfi Central seat. Now that the EC has disqualified your candidate, what will happen? Is the NDC? Will the NDC ask Peter to come back?
Which Peter?
The current MP.
He said he's going independent. So for us, we don't have any issues with him.
So you don't want to do business with him at all?
This game is a game of numbers. If he's not interested, we can't force him. Because if somebody even goes into the ballot, you can't force the person to go and vote for you.
That's it.
You wouldn't even know what the person is going to do. So it's better you even know the person's stance than trying to pretend or try to lie to yourself. Do you understand? That seat is going to the NDC. It is our seat. And whoever goes on the ticket of the NDC will be voted for. And it's as simple as that. He's going independent. He can do that. So I don't even want to. As for the EC, sometimes I don't understand the EC. You see, when there are issues you call her on, she's not ready to do it, especially when it's coming from the NDC. But as soon as it's against the NDC, you see EC rising up, running around, trying to make sure that...
But the EC earlier conducted another primary for which they acclaimed GHOne, right? But there was a process in courts. The NDC did not write back to the court. And so the EC thought that, well, I perpetrated an ingenuity. I want to correct this wrong. And so the EC has disqualified GHOne.
We don't have any issues with the EC. For us, we always do right.
And so if GHOne is not on the ballot, does that mean that the NDC will forfeit that seat?
No. Whatever the legal departments are doing, I think they are working towards it. I mean, I don't have information to that, so I wouldn't want to go into it. But with the EC's kind of way of doing things when it comes to that, you remember we're going to our primaries. As soon as Kwabena Dufo raised an issue, the EC was fast to say she wasn't going to go through the elections for us. Is that any of your problems? But you see, as soon as the NDC wants to raise an issue that is going against us, the EC is not ready to even listen to us. But when it's against us, whatever she has against us, whatever, I don't know, if somebody from the NDC...
So you think whatever is happening is a personal vendetta against
I
the
think
NDC?
so.
Okay.
I think so. Even with the CJ.
Okay.
Because of the way she normally handles issues when the NDC goes to court. Whatever personal issues they have, they should first think about the nation. And sometimes when I saw the EC, I'm a church elder. So when I see people behind the pulpit, I respect them a lot. When I saw the CJ behind the pulpit, I was like, whoa. And now I understand why a lot of people now don't want to go to church. Because our lives in the church are different from our lives outside the church. But as Christians, we are supposed to be the light of the world. And a light, when it's lit, cannot be hidden. We should shine.
But
we should let people know.
According to the law.
What kind of law? What kind of law? When the law favors your people, or people you think you like, or people you think you have issues
so
with.
So you think sure that the EC is in bed with the NPP?
The EC and the CJ, they are both in bed with the NPP. And it's an open secret. It's not something that we have to go into some books to realize what is happening. And it's a pity. If you think about the nation and you want to do good by the people, do the right thing. Make sure that whatever you are doing, you do right, so that at the end of it, we all go into this election free, fair, and come back same. Nobody will have issues with you. You are not going to have issues with anybody. You stay in the country peacefully. Charlotte Asai is still in this country. Apart from taking her out because they had their own personal things. She's still in the country. She's made a queen mother in her area. Who has chased her? Why is Ahmad Kai in this EC's house? Where is she running away from? With soldiers guiding her, holding her bags up and down. Sometimes when you are doing wrong, you should know that it will affect you too. When you are doing something, think of the things you leave. Posterity will always come back to judge us, and it will come at you strongly if you do bad.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been great having you. So that's Aoke Kelly Adubia. She's a member of the NDC communications team. We're able to have Elena Madeko. She's a member of the NPP communications team. Unfortunately, she didn't turn up due to some pressing issues at home, but we hope that next time she will make it. That's it for the breakfast review. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. My name is Lily Mohammed. We are back shortly after this breather.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience who are also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts. I
prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup. Because on a production you see a number of people in the van. And so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. Today we go into the forces, and I wish I was wearing a uniform this morning. Today is UN Day, and it's almost 8 decades of its existence. What's the rationale behind the establishment of the UN? Let's talk about it. My guest this morning, Brigadier General Winfred Jandu Hedido, is DG in charge of training General Headquarters at the Ghana Armed Forces. And Dr. Wilfred Ochan is UNFPA country representative to Ghana. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you.
Thank you. Good morning. A pleasure having us.
Yes. Great. Doc, how is Ghana?
Oh, Ghana is beautiful, lovely, peaceful. Thank you.
If you had the opportunity to come to Ghana earlier, would you have come?
I believe so. Ghana and my country are comparable in many terms. In terms of social interactions, in terms of a bit of the culture, in terms of the food variety, except maybe the way of cooking. Yeah, so it's so far good.
But let's talk about the United Nations. About 8 decades on, how has it fared in its discharge of duties and its mandate?
Thank you. You know, United Nations was founded or established in 1945, just after the Second World War, of course, following the UN Charter. And tomorrow, 24th of October, we will be commemorating its 79th year. Although 79th year of existence, the commemoration started around 1948, some 3 years later. Okay? And we do this mainly to try to celebrate, but also create awareness on the very reason for existence of the UN and also the achievement that the UN has had across the world. If you look at why UN was created, you then realize the significant role the UN plays in global peace and development. The existence for UN was created all around peace. So we are working to safeguard peace, and we are also working to protect human rights. We also work to ensure that international justice system is set up and support nations. And also we are trying to work to ensure there's progress in the economic and social realms of the people of the world. So in these 80 years of existence, we look at some of the achievements of the UN over this period of time, but we also look at some of the emerging issues that the UN is dealing with, but more importantly, continue celebrating and creating awareness as we know things keep evolving.
You mentioned some of the emerging issues that the US is handling. What are some of these issues?
If you saw at the time UN was founded in 1945, issues around climate crisis wasn't a big issue. But now we are seeing more and more of climate crisis and issues around that. We are also looking at the world has grown and nations have grown, and the need to look at some of the structural reform in some of the UN bodies to ensure representation and voice of the different parts of the world. We also look at really emerging global health crises. We have had Ebola, we have had COVID. We are seeing them coming on. And of course, we're looking at financing and financial architecture and systems that support sustainable economic development across the world. So all these continue to be issues that the UN look at and provide support to nations, work with partners to really make sure that they are addressed.
So some geopolitical analysts say that in the protection of human rights, especially with regards to the war crimes and the Israel-Palestine war or genocide, the UN has failed. What would you say to that?
I think we would look at the trajectory, or rather the trend over the years of where UN has played significant roles in bringing about peace in very many settings. I think Ghana has played a lot of peace missions, as an example, and many of these have been successful. And we also know that the different crises that go on, UN works together with government and continue to negotiate and look for peaceful diplomatic approach to resolving tensions and conflict in the world. So I wouldn't point out any particular case at this point in time that has failed, but I want to bring them as a continuing work in progress, because the UN bases its approach and its philosophy on peace and peaceful negotiation of conflicts and resolution. And we'll continue doing that, counting on all member states and others to support such initiative.
Is there a struggle for power within the UN body to the effect that a lot of these crimes go unpunished?
I think I said earlier some of the pressing issues that the UN continues to work on, like issues around the structure and the membership of the structure, critically point that nations have grown. At the time of formation of the UN, perhaps the geopolitics and the setup was different. But 80 years on, we started seeing that Africa also needed a seat on the Security Council and others need a seat. So all these are definitely trying to see voices and inclusion of everybody, so that when everybody is included and heard, perhaps we get a more better architecture and response to the needs that the world calls the UN on to support. So I would rather think it's a growth in development.
We're gradually developing. Okay.
It's a growth in development, yes, that can lead to.
Okay. Brigadier, he mentioned conflict. You have served in conflict zones for so many years. What would you say is the role Ghana has played at the UN?
Well, the role of Ghana at the UN has been very towering, very colossal. Since we joined the UN just 2 days after independence, that is on the 8th of March, you know, when Nkrumah saw us into the UN. Thereafter, we have advocated for all the tenets of the UN, participated in all the activities of the United Nations. I should mention that if you tell anybody that you are from Ghana, the first thing they ask is, oh, Kofi Annan.
Yeah.
And therefore, our leadership role and also our participation in all activities of the UN has made us very colossal. I should say that we've also participated in the non-permanent presidency of the Security Council, and quite recently from 2022 to 2023, where we had the presidency, and our mission in the UN, led by Ambassador Harold Ajiman, did a lot of work. One of the significant achievements of our role at the Security Council has been that we advocated for funding for peacekeeping operations that is led by African Union, such that 75% of the budget that the troops are to incur are to be paid by the UN. The rest has to be managed between the AU and other stakeholders, which is a very colossal achievement, because hitherto funding and other logistical challenges has made peacekeeping very difficult. Aside of that, Ghana has played leadership role, like I said, mentioning Kofi Annan. Then you can also be sure that for the peacekeeping arena, we had General Eskin from UNEF through to United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon as the first force commander. We have General Setobing, who was also force commander in the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, and so many other force commanders to talk about peacekeeping. And as for peacekeeping, you know that Ghanaian troops are noted for peacekeeping. We fly the flag everywhere that peacekeeping is supposed to be, starting from Congo, when our President Nkrumah decided to deploy us as far back as the 1960s. So apart from our peacekeeping role and the leadership that we play at the UN, Ghana is very key when it comes to UN matters. There are a few civilian key appointment holders that Doc will agree with me. We have, currently Madam Amata Pobi, who is very key. We have Ibn Chambers, who was also appointed as a very key person. He is now the AU's representative for silencing the guns. We now have Madame Liman, who is the Chief of Staff in South Sudan. We have Kiki Beho, who is the rep in Somalia. And so Ghanaians are all over the UN playing very colossal role.
Is it a Herculean task to go for peacekeeping operations?
It is a Herculean task, but I should say that it is ascribed to Dag Hammarskjöld, who said that peacekeeping is for soldiers. It's not for soldiers, I should say, but it's only soldiers who can do it. It is not only soldiers who do peacekeeping, it is both civilians soldiers, police officers, and prison officers, and other security services. It is Herculean because the threats and the risks that are associated with peacekeeping are quite unpredictable. However, that statement that I made goes to say that we are prepared to face such risks. And I should also put in place that the United Nations itself makes measures that we are able to operate peacefully, or we are able to operate protected, or we are able to operate such that we ameliorate those risks that are expected to befall us in the role of peacekeeping.
You wanted to
Maybe
answer?
just a little thing on to what you said. I think Ghana has also now joined the Human Rights Council. So again, continues to show the leadership role that Ghana as a country plays in the UN system. Just to add on to the point.
Is what is happening in the sub-region a concern to the UN?
Yes, it is a concern to the UN, and the UN, I think there's a regional economic ECOWAS team that oversees this region. We have Ambassador Leonardo, who is aiding the Special Representative of Secretary General for looking at issues around conflict and peace in this region. And I think we'll be coming also over to Ghana soon to continue seeing the role Ghana can play in the regional but also other aspects of the work. So yes, there is a concern for UN.
Are you concerned about the bowing out of some of these countries, Burkina Faso, out of ECOWAS, for instance?
Yes, we are concerned, and that's why I'm saying Leonardo is one of the key persons looking at all the regional dimensions of the movements around peace and conflict, and what can be done by the regional body like ECOWAS, but also what can be done by countries that can champion this and play a broader role.
Are we hopeful then that they'll return to the table?
It's challenging for me to ask. That is our hope, and that's our prayer and hope that continue to work together, because peace really needs a collective effort. It's not one person who can achieve it all, but every person needs to invest in their own right to advance peace. But if we all invest and then collectively come together, we should be able to really move on the peace dividend in the region. So I believe.
Let me also add that yes, the UN, like Doc said, is very concerned, because the UN is the world body that has the prerogative for international peace and justice as enshrined in its charter. However, of late, regionalism has come to the fore, such that regional bodies such as AU and sub-regional bodies such as ECOWAS are able to take on issues in their sub-region. So we are
Many argue that ECOWAS has failed, for which these persons are breaking free or breaking away.
Well, for organizations such as ECOWAS, AU, and so on, you will understand that the numbers alone are big, such that political and decisions, differences in the bodies will come to the fore. Even the UN is struggling to even take decisions, how much regional and sub-regional bodies. So it is anticipated that we'll have such issues about agreements here and there. And I am hopeful that the breakaway things that we see in the sub-region will soon normalize, because interdependence in international politics and international relations generally is what is the order of the day.
Is Ghana then concerned? Because then we are in the middle.
Yes, Ghana is concerned. As you be aware, we are the island of peace in the sub-region, and we have played very key roles when it comes to everything that concerns us. People will say that Ghana is the soft power in the sub-region. Whatever happens, Ghana, and we are surrounded by these countries, and therefore we are very concerned. And you will notice that even in our northern part of the country, the spillover or the fear of terrorism that is gradually coming from the Sahel is closing up with us. That is why a lot of effort is being put in to curb that one. So we are worried, and you know, you cannot do anything but to jaw and talk to ameliorate some of these issues.
Now that you mentioned the northern part, I am from Boko. So I am concerned. What is it that we are missing in our quest to solve this conflict in Boko?
Well, I am aware that Doc will add a lot to it, but as a soldier, we are not missing much in terms of trying to solve the problem, because there is a lot of effort, but the causal factors have been endemic.
Okay.
It's been a long conflict. It's grown beyond holistic solutions, such that I think that the communities, the chiefs, the locals, individuals in that area should be able to sit down and say, look, let's bury our differences. Otherwise, you go in with solutions and the next day the locals bring it up because chieftaincy and so on and so forth. Otherwise, at national and governmental level, I think that development that should go in to discourage the young and the youth from going to carry arms to fight each other will, to some very large extent, solve the problem. So development, and like the UN helps us to bring about minor issues such as the SDGs, alleviation of poverty, transparency, honesty in dealing with even the community leaders is the way forward, I guess. Yes.
You wanted to add something?
Just to say, yes, this is of concern to the UN, of concern to everybody, that we really need peace in its entirety for every part of Ghana. And in northern part of Ghana, the UN has been working with the government and the local leadership to really foster issues around social cohesion, social contract, bring youth to dialogue and really look at issues of peace, women to dialogue, look at issues of peace. And also, as the Colonel has said, we are also looking at how do we improve the economic livelihood and strengthen access to services, because these are the things that can create the foundation or the basis for conflict to fester on. And of course, how do you bring the traditional leaders in the conversation and in the dialogue so that we really start moving toward the peaceful negotiation and resolution of conflict? Yes. So we have some programs that we are doing in some of those areas at the UN, but I'm also aware a number of development partners and the government itself are also having programs that we are putting together. I actually dream of a situation where we could all come together and just say, okay, what are the development concerns? What are you bringing as security? What are you bringing as UN? What are you bringing as this? And can this address the concerns that the community have in a more collective, area-based programming to resolve the issues of concern in those specific areas in a more consistent and coordinated manner.
As we head to major elections in about 45 days, have there been talks in some of these areas?
I know I've had a bit of the different manifestos. I scan over that. I know each party has its own manifesto and issues that they wish to deal with. But I think peace should be of concern to everybody, to every political party, to every local leader, to every citizen of this country. And at the UN, we have been rallying a campaign called I Pledge for Peace, where we're really asking everybody to pledge to promote peace. Ghana is known for peace. Ghana is known for good democratic credentials. So we hope reason will prevail and peace prevail in the circumstance.
Are you also concerned about what is happening in Parliament? I know you're talking about UN Day, but I just needed to ask. Since yesterday, the Ghana Armed Forces were there.
Well, the Ghana Armed Forces hierarchy released a statement to say that they were invited to sweep the area, so to say, even in the ambits of the UN, to make sure that the Parliament House was safe. So that was the role upon invitation. And certainly we are concerned because Ghana Armed Forces protects the sovereignty of Ghana. And sovereignty these days has wider dimensions of definitions. So if within a state we don't have peace, then where are we looking at, or what are we defining as sovereignty? So we are concerned, and we also add up to the peaceful issues that are going on. For instance, this UN Day celebration started with a peace walk on the 19th last Saturday, and we were part of it, including other security services. So we are concerned because we can only thrive in a peaceful environment. And our key role is to ensure that the environment is peaceful for other stakeholders, the UN, the media, all citizens to work. Yes.
Now that you talk about celebration of UN Day, let's talk about some of the activities that you're embarking on for the celebration of the UN Day. You want to go on, or I can go to Doc?
Well, just to add that, apart from that peace walk that we had, there's certainly going to be a flag raising ceremony, which often climax UN Day celebrations, and a UN link for schools to also mimic what is happening there, probably to raise it above Ghana. The UN headquarters itself is observing this day, and in the General Assembly Hall there will be a concert that will climax these activities. So I'll leave the rest to Doc to highlight.
No, thank you. I think you've essentially covered the main activities that are planned. I just wish to stress a few issues around like the peace walk. We didn't call it a health walk, it was peace walk. And I was glad I participated with the forces and the services of police, prisons, and the army, and of course, a cross-section of the UN staff and other organizations that join us, including Foreign Affairs. For us, the peace walk was symbolic in many ways, that each one of us who took the steps to walk the 6+ kilometers was a symbolic demonstration of what is needed of us as individuals to put effort towards peace. But also working together with the army, with the civilian, with the UN was demonstrative of the intent that if we come together with our different style of working, but also different institutions from which we come, we can bring our collective diversity to bring peace. We can bring out the different mandates towards peace. We can bring our different competencies to deliver peace in Ghana. So for us, the symbolic peace walk had many meaning to it, and we hope it had many meaning to the people who also participated in this. The other aspect that I wish to add is on the flag raising, which will be tomorrow, because the UN Day is commemorated on 24th of October with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Again, for us, it's a demonstration of the strong partnership the UN has with the government of Ghana, and also more particularly the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And we want to show that strength of partnership and the spirit with which we want to continue collaborating and working in Ghana.
Okay. What's the theme for this year's celebration?
The theme is UN at 79.
Yes.
Working together.
Yes.
Towards peace and sustainable development in Ghana for present and future generations.
Okay.
And again, you hear the element of peace, sustainable development. The two go hand in hand. So we like peaceful society, but also like the society to have progress in a sustainable way.
Have our efforts towards sustainable development yielded massive results?
Yes, I think they have. And Doc will expatiate on that. It has because of the role that the UN plays in Ghana. There's been a lot of advocacy that the UN activities have taken place everywhere, even to the grassroots level. So there's been a lot of success of UN activities in Ghana. And I think Doc will highlight.
Thank you. I think we have had success. Of course, we've also had challenges. But I start with the success in the sense that if you look at the main roles of UN peace, I think you have illustrated where we have had successful peaceful missions, peace initiatives at community to national to other levels that the UN has really done across the world. If you come to issues of protecting human rights, many countries have adopted human rights principles and put them in their national document, whether constitution or some other law that support the protection of human rights. Of course, implementation, enforcement might be a challenge here and there, but the adoption is really spread across as an achievement of influence of the UN system. The other aspect to it is international justice system. I think we know what has been done in this aspect by the UN globally, and also in some of the regional initiatives that were set up to deal with some violation of human rights and atrocities. And then when you come to the sustainable social and economic development, which we align with, like with the SDG, both in Ghana and globally, we've seen a lot of progress. You haven't reached there, but we've seen a lot of progress. In education, look at Ghana alone, how many women and the percentage of women that have since gone in terms of gender parity in education. Look at access to health services. It's growing. We are not saying it's the UN that has done all this. We are saying UN catalyzed or provided some support in all these dimensions, because it's really the government that takes lead in this. UN come as a strong partner to work with the government, to work with the civil society, to work with the development partners in advancing some of these achievements that we are seeing.
Okay.
Let me also just add that, for instance, the establishment of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center that trains people in peace and security is a great achievement, and of course by the support of the UN and Ghana that owns it. So it's also important to say that that institution creates training and awareness for training of peace and security.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. We wish you all the best.
Maybe just one last thing, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I think I could also bring a conversation on the current support that UN is having in Ghana. Last year we signed a 3-year cooperation framework that amounts to about $500 million that the UN will invest and work with Ghanaian counterparts and other stakeholders to again advance the aspects of peace and security, economic and social development, and human rights promotion, as well as support to institutions to be sustainable. So yes, we are together with Ghanaians and the people of Ghana.
And we hope that everything we set out, we achieve it for the betterment of not just Ghanaians, because there are other nationals who live in Ghana, for the betterment of the entire continent.
Absolutely. Like in the north, we are also providing support to the asylum seekers and refugees that are there. So yes, we really want to focus on everybody and leave no one behind, but even want to focus on those who have been left behind currently from our data, so that we really bridge the inequities and equalities in access and use of services.
Since you gave Doc the last word,
yes, I wanted to give you
to say to Ghanaians and the world that peace is not only the absence of war.
Yes.
Peace doesn't mean the absence of war. Therefore, as individuals, we need to be at peace with ourselves, with our neighbors. Then that will resonate the entire world. And I often said that, what is in the Bible that says that so long as it depends on you, be at peace with your neighbor. That is the solution for peaceful existence.
Okay. Thank you very much. Happy UN Day tomorrow. We wish you all the best.
You're welcome to the celebration.
Okay. You have celebrations that you're welcoming everybody
well, yes, and we are going to be at the forecourt to do the flag raising, and a couple of people have been invited to engage.
Including the media.
Yes. Exactly.
So we will be there. So I've been engaging Brigadier General Winfred Jandu Hedido. He's DG in charge of training, General Headquarters at the Ghana Armed Forces, and Dr. Wilfred Ochan. He's United Nations Food and Populations Fund.
Country representative for United Nations Populations Fund, but currently the acting resident coordinator.
Okay, so he's currently the acting resident coordinator for UNFPA.
For UN.
For UN?
Yes.
But you are the UNFPA country representative to Ghana?
Yes, substantively I'm the UNFPA representative. But the resident coordinator, Mr. Charles Abani, has traveled, so I'm acting in his behalf.
Okay, in his stead.
For this reason that I came.
That is why you're here. Well, yes. Okay. So that's Dr. Wilfred Ochan. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. This is still GH Today. We are back after this break. Stay tuned in.
Welcome back to the show. You're still watching GH Today, and this is GHOne Television. And now we want to talk about the 4th Annual Muslims Conference. It's coming up pretty shortly. We want to find out all about it. I've been joined in the studio by Alhaji Inusa Mohammed. He's the National Muslim Conference of Ghana General Secretary. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you for joining us in the studio. I hope you're doing well.
We're very much doing well, and we're very fortunate to be here this morning.
Well, we are fortunate to have you in the studio, and we're excited about it. So let's get into the details. The fourth Annual National Muslim Conference, right? What is the Muslim Conference about, really?
Thank you very much. Let me say very good morning to our cherished viewers on GHOne TV. The National Muslim Conference is an institutional framework established by the Muslim community in Ghana in the year 2021 to serve as a platform from which the entire Muslim community in Ghana will be communicating with the government. When I say government, I mean the legislature,
right?
The executive, and for that matter, the judiciary. It is made up of all the Muslim sects that you can talk of in Ghana, and in Ghana we have 4 major Muslim sects.
Right.
The Sunnah, the Tijaniya, the Ahmadiyya, the Shia. Of course, when you look at the structure of the governing body, we also have the Ghana Muslim Mission because of its special features. Though we don't consider it as a sect, but it is also part of the governance structure of the National Muslim Conference of Ghana.
Right.
As a community, for many years, I mean since independence, we have come to the realization that we've not really made our voice heard in the governance process of this country. Our impact or inputs we have made mostly can be felt more at a political party level, but not in terms of the true input coming from the Muslim community in terms of bills that are before Parliament and the Muslim community taking a particular stand or making an input into the legislative process.
Right.
We also know that at the executive level, a lot of policy documents are being pushed forward, and then most of the time you wouldn't hear the Muslim community coming out forcefully, and all these policies and legislations, when they are pushed through at the level of implementation, that you get to realize that something is amiss, something that could have been resolved at the level of policy formulation, something that could have been resolved at the level of legislation, because at the committee level, it is still possible for a community to submit a memoranda in a particular way that they think a particular legislation should go.
Yeah.
All these things we've lost out. And at the end of the day, we just became like people who are at the receiving end of whatever policy that is being churned out, good or bad. And we have suffered it a lot from the policies concerning education, concerning health, concerning economic empowerment, concerning the legal rights of Muslims. And we thought the time had come. If we do want to become meaningful because we are also taxpayers.
Yeah.
We contribute significantly to the socio-economic development of this country. And if we want to make proper impact, and if we want policies and legislations to be enacted to see to our specific community needs, then we get to be fully involved in all these processes. So that led to the establishment of the National Muslim Caucus. And to be honest with you, the initiation of it came from the Muslim Caucus of Parliament, which was done in consultation with the leadership of the Muslim community. There's a history behind it. In the holy month of Ramadan, we're all here when we heard that Muslim students were disallowed from observing their obligatory annual fasting.
Right.
Students at the Western Girls School.
Yes.
And then we all heard the brouhaha that came out of it. But when we took sober reflection on all these matters, we all realized that what just happened was just a symptom of something else. So instead of dealing with the symptom, we rather decided to deal with the disease.
With the disease itself. And uproot it.
And that's what led to the creation of the National Muslim Conference. So we have been in existence in the last 4 years.
Right.
And then it's a conference that organizes annual conference. The conference itself is an institution.
Yeah. And then you have the annual conference.
That's it. It has its head office at the National Mosque at Kanda. And it has a governing body that is chaired by the National Chief Imam, with the imams of the other sects as members of the governing body. It has a management board that is involved in the day-to-day formulation of policies and giving direction to the movement of the institution. And it has a secretariat that is headed by the general secretary. And I'm now acting in that capacity.
Right.
And also acting there because it was initiated by the Muslim Caucus of Parliament and being an officer of the House and also secretary to the Muslim Caucus. The initial stage, it became necessary for us to provide guidance as to how things work in administrative settings and in institutional settings.
Right.
So I'm quite sure as it is a baby, as we are growing by, I can assure you we are already making a
strong impact,
serious impact, because we have engaged His Excellency the President at the Jubilee House, presented to him the deed of the National Muslim Conference, and indicating our readiness now to do business with government, our readiness now to be consulted on matters that affect us. At least we have now created that platform. And His Excellency the President actually gave us the assurance that he was going to extend to the National Muslim Conference the same protocols and the same attention that is accorded at the religious bodies such as the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishop Conference, and other things. So, so far we are doing well with the government. At least on economic issues, we've been invited to the Jubilee House for discussion.
So a lot has been going on.
A lot has been going on.
With regard to, the work that you're doing, you know, as the National Muslims Conference, right?
Sure.
And organizes this annual conference also, generally is one of them. So tell us about this 4th Annual Muslims Conference. What is the theme? Who are the people that are speaking? And, how can people be?
Like I said, the National Muslim Conference is built on 4 thematic areas. And the first conference, because the problem started with education, the theme of the first conference was on education. And out of which we were able to develop the Ghana Muslim education strategy.
Right.
There was a second conference that has to do with economic empowerment. At the end of the conference, we were able to develop the Ghana Muslim economic empowerment strategy. Last year, we have the 3rd conference where we developed our legal strategy. So this is the 4th conference. And this one is intended to develop a strategy that will close the gap. The gap as far as health service delivery is concerned.
Right.
So it is this 4th conference, the theme is on health service delivery, closing the gap, and the role that the National Muslim Conference can play.
Right.
Because we believe strongly health area or sector is one of the areas that our community is. We know the communities where we are predominantly occupying, and then the type of services that are being delivered are not up to scratch as compared to similar services that are being provided to other communities, and also our own involvement. How many Muslim doctors do we have in the system? How many Muslim nurses do we have in the system? How many Muslim clinical officers do we have in the system? So we think we should work hard so that as years to come, because Islam is not just a religion of prayer in the mosques. Islam is a total way of life. Even how health service is supposed to be delivered to a Muslim is properly defined for the Muslim in terms of exposure and other things. So we have decided now to see how we can partner with the government to understand and appreciate our own needs in terms of health service delivery, in terms of education, and in terms of economic empowerment.
All right. So, special guest of honor and the other speakers, can you briefly give us those details? And
yes.
then, when it's happening. And
indeed, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has been invited to be a special guest of honor.
Right.
But he has written back to us through his secretary and give an indication that he's delegated this responsibility to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, to be the special guest. But the conference also has a special host.
Right.
The Right Honorable Speaker, Alban Bagbin, because of the involvement of the Muslim caucus in Parliament.
So he will also.
So he is our father in Parliament, and because of that, we are hosts. So he has hosted it on our behalf. And indeed, to be honest with you, the last 4 years that we have established the National Muslim Conference, he has played a significant role in supporting us to ensure that it becomes well established.
Okay. All right. So when is the conference?
The conference is the opening ceremony of the conference will take place at the National Mosque Kanda at exactly 3:15, just after the Asr prayers. The opening ceremony will take place there, but there will be a 2-day continuous work that will be done at the conference hall of the National Chief Imam at the National Mosque for 2 days.
All right.
And it will end with a closing ceremony that we are expecting His Excellency, the former President of the Republic, to also be there with us during the closing ceremony.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us in the studio and giving us all of this very detailed information about the 4th Annual National Muslim Conference. And Alhaji Inusa Mohammed. We're grateful.
Thank you.
Alhaji is the National Muslim Conference of Ghana General Secretary, telling us about the 4th Annual Muslim Conference. So if you're minded, you should be a part of it. Stay tuned. You're still watching GH Today. We'll return very shortly. You're still watching GH Today here on GHOne television, and currently, as we speak, you can see in your shots, some of the videos from the funeral of one of the young women who unfortunately lost her life in that ghastly accident at East Legon. That sad incident occurred, and today, Justine Marianne Enyonam Agbenu is being put to rest. And it's happening at the Christ the King Catholic Church here in Accra. You can currently see in your shots the burial mass that is currently ongoing at the Christ the King Church in Accra. We all know on that fateful day, that ghastly accident at the East Legon, which claimed the lives of 2 young girls. Very unfortunate incident that happened. And we know a vigil was held for them. And on this particular day, the final funeral service of Justine, one of the victims, Justine Marianne Enyunam Agbenu, is currently ongoing, and we're bringing you some of the video or some of the feed from the funeral currently, as you can see it. And we'll say that condolences to the family, and may her soul rest in perfect peace. You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today here on GHOne Television. And let's talk about the Tutina Legacy Project. And this is something which is being done by a youth group, the Hope Network. And representatives of the Hope Network are here in the studio this morning. Louis Nana Asiedu Kwache is here in the studio. He's secretary for the Hope Network. Good morning.
Good morning, bro.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And great to have you.
Okay,
also, Michael Nyako Gidimakpe is here in the studio. He's Assistant Financial Secretary to the Hope Network. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Lantam.
Yes. So, let's first of all talk about the Hope Network. What is the Hope Network all about?
Right. So, the Hope Network is a youth group from one of the Volta River resettlement communities in the Oti region called Tapa Amanfrom. And this group is sought to support chiefs and elders to drive developmental projects for the community. You know, if you have read much about some of those resettlement communities, it looks like a lot of things are not going right with them. And we think that the chiefs and elders cannot do it alone. With the young people, must use our influence, our network to be able to support the development agenda for the community. But actually, our HOPE is an acronym for Helping Our People Excel.
Helping Our People Excel
Network.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what your Hope stands for, the Hope Network, helping our people excel.
Network.
Wow, that's brilliant. So, I mean, how long has the Hope Network been?
We've been 4 years now. We're inaugurated in 2020.
Right.
And since 2020, we've been up and doing gradually.
Yeah. So, Michael, the Tutina Legacy Project. What's that?
Okay, thank you. The Tutina Legacy Project is a project that we intended. We had 60 years anniversary way back during the Easter, and then we came back to Accra and we decided to launch the Accra version of it.
Right.
So what we are doing about this project is that we want to establish a STEM and ICT center for the community way back in the Tapaman community. So this is what we intend to do. We, the youth of the Hope Network and the Tapaman community, we are putting our sources together, and then we are having a program named the Tutina Legacy Project, 27th of this month at Accra Technical University, where we have a lot of statesmen invited for the program.
So it's the launch of a STEM and ICT education center.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why STEM and ICT education?
Lantam, you agree with me that today the world is going digital, and for us to be able to also follow in the steps of the direction of the world, we need to keep with the steps of the world. STEM and ICT is an issue now, and we believe that education too is a pivotal developmental agent. So we thought that ICT and STEM will be the best way to go, so that people can get hands-on and fit into any class of work with the system that we are going now. Yeah.
So I mean, so how difficult or easy was it, putting this project together?
Let me take that.
Yeah.
It's not been easy because 60 years of our forefathers' resettlement and having schooled in that same community, I haven't seen the struggles we have to go through to get to where you are by the grace of God. We felt that we should be able to do something significant. However, getting people on board is not easy. Nowadays, getting sponsorship and support is not an easy thing. But in the midst of all that, I believe that when you do something which is worthwhile, productive, other individuals will see the vision and gradually come on board. It's not been easy, but we're trying. At least 4 years, we've been doing some other activities, and this is the climax of the 60 years and a monument for the 60 years of our resettlement. We believe that with the caliber of people that we've gotten on board to come and speak to this project, it raises the bar for any organization, individual to know that those young people are up for something and they should come on board to support.
So I mean, so with getting people to support, how do people come on board, to support, the Hope Network in doing some of these good initiatives that you want to put out there?
Initially, with the Hope Network Youth fund ourselves. So what we do is that anytime we want to organize such occasions or such events like this, we sort to contributions, and then a few people who are well-to-do come in to, give us a little donation to support events of such. So that's what we have been managing all along this way till now.
Right. But I'm pretty sure, there are people out there who would be interested in supporting you to be able to do projects like this. So how do people like that, get in touch and come out to support?
Right. So we're going to launch the event on the 27th, as Michael have said earlier. It's a platform, it's an opportunity for the individuals to be able to know that these young people exist and they are doing something for the community, that they should be able to come on board. So it's just a matter of getting in touch with the executive. The launch is just to pave way for us to enter the market, so to speak, to seek for support, so that we'll be able to put our documents properly together, so that when we are coming to Lantam for you to help us, you'll be able to know that, yeah. So after the launch, we'll get into the space to seek for funding and support. Thankfully, also, we have some brothers and sisters in diaspora who have saw the vision to be worthwhile. So they are standing by also to use their influence and network to seek support from outside, also to support what we are trying to do. What has actually happened is that the community itself started a secondary school. And when they started the secondary school, the 3 classroom blocks that they started the school with, now the government has relocated the school, giving it a new environment. So that classroom block that is lying fallow in the community, that's what we're trying to renovate and use it for the STEM and the ICT education. So the work we're going to do is renovation work and the installation of STEM kits and computers for the ICT center.
All right. Well, so so about all of this, what will be your final words to viewers out there?
Michael will go first.
I'm looking at Michael.
Thank you. This is the Hope Network, natives of Tapama from. We are urging the state, in fact, the well-to-do people in the state to hear us and know that the Tapama from is one of the communities in the country. So way back where we used to be before the resettlement, we had a lot of amenities, but when we relocated, we have lost a lot of things. So we are speaking to the general public to come to our aid. In fact, we need support, especially the educational arena. They are suffering.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there a number that you can put out there for people to get in touch?
Yeah. So you can call 0243 25 95 44, 0243 25 95 44, and Michael to put the other.
You can reach me on 050 577 504.
All right. Thank you very much.
0508 577 504.
504. Thank you very much. I'm grateful that you joined us here in the studio.
Thank you, Lantam.
Thank you.
We're so grateful for the opportunity.
Yes. Louis Nana Asiedu Kwachi, Secretary of the Hope Network, and Michael Nyako Gidimakbe, Assistant Financial Secretary to the Hope Network. And this is where we'll wrap up this particular section. But if it's your birthday today, we're saying a happy birthday to you. It's time for us to do some birthday celebrations. So we're beginning our birthday celebration today with Diana Akosia Ahaji. Happy birthday to you. You've been my constant source of inspiration and happiness. I wish you a wonderful birthday filled with blessings. May your cup always overflow with oil, and even in another life, I would still choose you with love. And this is coming from Enam. Happy birthday to my amazing husband, Mr. Akwesi Bonsu, publisher of My Story magazine and the CEO of the MSM Media. You bring so much joy, laughter, and love into my life every single day. I'm so grateful for all the beautiful moments we share, and I look forward to many more adventures together. You deserve the world. I'm so blessed to call you mine. I love and cherish you greatly. And this is from Abena Bonsu, Esquire. To our beautiful daughter, Dillis Apia, happy birthday. You are the light of our lives and bring so much happiness into our world. We are so proud of the kind, smart, and amazing person you are becoming. And this is Mr. Sylvester Pierce, little girl. Happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to my daughter, Franklina Akunyonta. May his face shine on you. Have an amazing year, dear. And this is from your parents, uncles, and aunties. Yesterday. And this one is a special happy birthday to the founder of My Story magazine. Your birthday was yesterday, Mr. Akwesi Bonsu. God bless you for all the incredible work you keep doing. And this is coming from Irabna Boating to you, Mr. Akwesi Bonsu. Happy birthday to you. Na de tete. That's right. Na de tete. Happy birthday to you. Na de is with us here at the EIB network on the radio, on TV. Currently, she's hosting the Morning Star. We're celebrating her, and we here at the EIB network just want to tell Na de that we love her so much, and we're praying that all the blessings that come with a birthday be showered on her in the name of Jesus. Happy birthday to you, Na de. And on that birthday note, we're wrapping up GH Today here on GHOne Television. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Lantam Papanko. I've been here with Mohammed. We'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of the show. Have a wonderful day.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Miss Africa awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience who are also watching on TVs and online. Work with an technology system which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts. I
prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup. Because on a production you see a number of people in the van. And so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the track and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.